Hello and welcome to The Late Shift. My name is Val and I'm joined with...
James,
Saul,
and Jonah.
Wow, he's returned.
another voice.
Another voice. How are you, Jonah? How were your adventures?
What were they?
So, of course, there was the expedition to the West Pole.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, and the reintroduction of cannibalism to
mainstream cooking.
cooking.
You and Mary Berry.
Yeah.
She did taste really good.
Oh, you turned it on her.
Now the student has become the master, like Sith.
And before we get into really important conversation, I just wanted to clarify some things. What are your opinions on an Arga? Lame?
On an Arga? As in just a little like wood burner, or like the whole cooking range?
The Arga, just the idea of having an Arga. How do you feel about it?
The cooking range.
The
I
whole
don't know.
big-
Never had one, but I've
You
had
think
the
they're
little
cool?
wood burner. Yeah, I think they're cool. I think gas cookers and electric is more convenient than having to light a wood fire every morning. But I like the aesthetic.
There we go, guys. It's now 50-50. And
Wait, who was against the
Argas are lame. I think Argas are lame. Argas are pretentious, and anyone who has an Arga will always tell you to have one. And for those reasons, I'm out. Saul was trying to say that having
my
an
dad has an Arga and he is pretentious.
I point out that it's not 50-50, it's actually 50% in favour of Arga, 25% vehemently against Arga, and 25% unsure what an Arga is until they googled it after the third podcast.
So now you know what it is, James.
Distinctly neutral on the Arga.
We'll have to start a coalition government.
I mean, I looked at it and I thought, that looks like I would, if I saw
It's
it,
constantly on, that's the thing.
The
It's
thing is-
always warm.
as a layman, looking at an Arga as they appear on Google image search, it looked like just a load of trays and shelves. I
think they're cute, but like Saul's dad, I'm kind of pretentious. So
Oh no.
that's why I went looking for
I'm
the
real
West
sad
I'd like to
about
point
Pole.
out my dad isn't actually pretentious. That was a joke. That was a goof. That was.
No, it's out there now.
Well, I'm
What?
not.
Congratulations,
joking,
Dad. Welcome to the Pretentious Club. You've been branded so by your last child. I don't know why I made that sound like it was an insult.
Yeah, it's
Like, the last
so.
one.
What's the emphasis on
He
that?
gave up hope after the third.
So, Jonah, would you say the fame you've earned from being on the opening Late Shift, has that really improved your progress across your expeditions and creative endeavours and helping bring cannibalism back, or did it impede your path? Did being famous kind of stand in the way of getting
How
what you need
far
done?
did your fame last before you reached out and you found no one knew you in these strange lands?
The Appalachians, actually. The American Midwest. We haven't got much outreach there. Little known fact, full of Yetis. They're all over Montana, yeah.
Yeah. That is a strange thing about the whole Bigfoot thing.
Hmm.
Yeah, the way that... No, just speaking of Yetis, they're cousins.
That might have been why I think they were visiting.
Yeah. They asked you for the bus stop. Not from around here. As you can see, Yetis, we're here to see our cousin Bigfoot. Pretty big deal, and you were like, I get what you did there. They looked at you blankly because their species does not understand those kind of social cues. They were just like, sorry, what? Where is this bus?
So what was your point?
My point is that I find it very funny that no, my point is that I find it very, very funny that all over America there are like people who like these staunch squatchers who are like, the Squatch is out there and will like be like, I've seen him and all this kind of stuff. Bearing in mind that the original image, if you actually see it, that started off the Bigfoot craze, is so obviously a man in a suit, it hurts. You know what I'm saying? Like that random like, oh no, like, it's crazy.
Oh, with
I
the
think.
koi over the shoulder.
Yeah, that famous image of Bigfoot like looking over, kind of like,
Yeah.
it's so obviously a man in a suit, but that started all of this. That one image, just like the Loch Ness Monster, which was just a load of tyres in a lake.
What? That's not real.
No, it's not real.
I thought old Nessie visits Sasquatch as well. On the bus.
How's she getting out of a lock?
I'm pretty sure it flows into the sea, like a lot of lakes do. So they've got a river on one end.
Yeah,
You can think that can fit like a plesiosaur.
Nessie using her tail, right, grabs a little windlass right?
Yeah.
Just drains the water a bit to lower the level, opens the gates like a canal, gets
Slides all over.
gets the next section.
Yeah, scares that random drunk person who was conveniently very intoxicated to report later on the
I mean,
website.
we are talking about something in Scotland.
Yeah, good point. There's not much damning. That's just witnesses.
Casual racism.
And when,
Well, I think-
when
I
they're
think-
all unreliable, then there's nothing we can
It's
do.
all relative, really. Maybe it's underground rivers, like it's aquifers.
Yeah, it could easily be. I mean,
One goes all the way into the Atlantic.
haven't they like pretty much? I mean, they've wasted so much money like scanning every inch of that log, looking for the Loch Ness monster.
The only thing I have to add to the whole Loch Ness monster conversation is the fact that the guy who's supposed to be an expert genuinely looks like a mythical beast himself. He's this glorious man with this incredible beard, and whenever you do see him in photos, he's always on a boat going somewhere, which just makes you think that he was on every single one of those trips trying
Is
to
it Captain
map.
Birdseye?
No, he looks a little bit like Captain Birdseye had sex with Santa Claus, because the beard's more kind of wizardly.
Brian
Yeah,
Blessed.
he's got the fish the fish range to support. So people, it is how he gathers an income to do these expeditions. That's
Yeah.
how he gets his money.
And I think all his different products are different types of chum he uses to try and lure Nessie up, like Captain Ahab, to kill it.
All failed experiments.
He said like
His name's
the
Adrian
dippers
Shine.
didn't work, and then the fish fingers didn't work. What do you eat? God damn it!
Apparently nothing with breadcrumbs on it.
Adrian Shine, look at him. What a man.
You're not wrong. Why is he? Why? Okay, so
Looks more like a garden gnome in a suit.
visual cue here. Lots of pictures of a man with a beard on a boat.
I like this one. He's like caught off guard. I hope you're enjoying this
I
audio
love
listeners.
it when we talk about pictures in a radio show. Podcast, sorry.
Podcast, yeah. But I don't know how we got onto Loch Ness. We came from Bigfoot land.
Yeah, you
from the
brought us
Yeti.
here.
Yeah, I didn't bring us here. You went to the mountains and you brought up the Yeti, and I just.
And I brought up.
You guys, I'm going to be honest, like, hate to break the fourth wall here. You sprung the whole looking for the West Pole on me, so I thought I'd talk about Yetis in Montana. It's about as sensible.
Yeah, exactly. I don't see
Yeah.
why the suspension of disbelief has to end right there after the Western
But
Pole.
also, no
You're
one
like,
questioned the fact that I was looking for the Western Pole on somewhere that wasn't on the equator.
He's got a point. It's probably so you're only doing that in hindsight. Now you know you didn't find it.
Yeah.
you can see where you went wrong.
You're like, it makes sense it was on the equator. Why were we in Montana? Damn this Sherpa guide. It's like,
in Montana,
It's a guy I followed from, like,
you do mountains, right? These ones as well.
which is like
Yes,
with
if you
his
keep
tap-
paying me.
Did the guy you followed know that?
Jonah was the expedition leader. He
Agree.
wasn't following someone.
He said he followed a man.
The Sherpa, yeah, who didn't know where he was going.
I think he was trying to evade you.
a high
We all just-
Started vaguely talking about Yetis to add legitimacy.
Just a guy I bumped into on a bus out of Kentucky. He just, he seemed like he knew where
Are
he was
you a
going.
Sherpa? I'm backpacking a Sherpa guide it is.
And carry my stuff.
I like the idea that he starts talking about Yetis and things as a way of trying to dissuade Jonah from continuing to follow him, pretending to be mad. Kind of a tactic you use as a woman when you think that you're being followed and you start doing like a weird walk to try and persuade them. That's genuinely...
Persuade them. I think you
Dissuade
mean
them.
dissuade
That's
them.
what I said. Come on. No,
So wait. This
You
is
try to
This
look-
is news to me, right?
not-
I
you're
didn't
not-
realise that girls. I mean, I'm not saying that I followed women before, but I've definitely walked behind at a pace that might be
Alarming.
Yeah, so, as it turns out, not all of them actually have gammy legs.
Why are you walking so bizarrely? I'm trying to persuade you.
Well, no.
What?
Okay, wait, bear with me. It's one of those things that you have it where someone's walking ahead of you, but they're walking quite fast, but not as fast as you, but still to the point where you need to go even faster to overtake, or you slow down. But then you get to that awkward time where you kind of it just looks like you're
just
following
breathing
them.
down their neck.
But I've never had it where I was in that situation of being socially awkward and not, coming to a resolution where the woman started like limping, like suddenly.
So have you ever-
That's like the last thing you want to do if you actually think you're being pursued.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
I
a
know.
wildebeest in a pack, slowing
Don't
down.
worry,
when there
look
are
sick. The
lions
lions
around.
don't go for the sick ones.
I mean, this is probably the least PC thing I could have said, but what I'm saying is that you try and make yourself look as unappealing, unattractive as possible, so you start acting weird.
What, you just start walking like you've crapped yourself. Was that a big
Oh,
one?
no.
Or do you actually crap yourself?
Sometimes some people go method. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are some girls out there.
What is a dissuading wall? Do you just like do you just stop and like pretend to like unstick your fictional balls and then like keep going and be like, oh, nothing here but a dose will make you cry?
But the
Question to the group: Have you ever walked behind a woman and realised that, like, the circumstances make it out as if you are being a creepy stalker man?
yes, that was my anecdote.
Okay,
I've been in that situation a lot.
I would describe.
Foul every time. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah, I
happens.
don't have that problem because see, I'm a very leisurely walker. So like, I usually my quarry escapes very easily. No,
Please, nothing more than the brisk saunter.
yeah. No, I don't make this an effort.
Oh no, she's slowing down. She's like limping.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Looks like I'm back in the chance.
She's in reach.
No, I usually like because I mean I probably have because I walk around quite a lot at night. You know.
With a hockey mask on, it's my
No,
thing.
it's because
It's easier to breathe through. I'm scared
No.
of the London air.
Oh, it's with a gas mask on.
and I wear my overalls and rubber gloves because I don't want contact with other people. And of course, I bring my trusty axe in case I ever get stuck and need to chop my way out of a situation.
James is so afraid
Find
of
myself
London
on the journey
dirt.
to
He's in
Mordor.
I
full,
look like Jason Voorhees.
That was
Jason
my
really let
choice.
himself go, didn't he?
So you walk about at night.
Well, because I don't like going out in the day because
You're a vampire.
no, it's got to the
Like
point now
burns
where
your skin.
genuinely like I just don't like it because there's people around. Like I'm such an introvert. Like if anything, like I'm the least threatening person because I'm more scared they'll come and start a conversation with me than like so it's kind of thing where if they turn around and start coming at me, I'd start backing off.
I find this a pretty funny twist to anybody who's listened to the last 3 episodes because you kind of dominate the conversation when it comes to our friendship group. So the fact that you claim to be terribly, like, almost.
Almost introverted. You don't count me as a true
No,
one.
I
The
meant-
one who's just confessed to not wanting to go up when the sun's out because there's more people.
I meant like cripplingly introverted. That's what I was looking for.
But no, what I mean. So
Peasantly
I tend to kind of walk places at night, and because I'm walking places at night,
And then you get to the shops and they're closed. You're like, rats.
I tend not to have because usually the place I'm going to is a 24-hour place because it's quite late.
It's
So
open.
I take my time, so I know it's going to be open, so I don't have to rush anywhere. Don't have to worry. So if there is ever like someone I'm following, I tend to lose them pretty quick because I'm kind of sitting there. I've got like a podcast
It's
on,
dark.
headphones. I tend to look at my feet a lot. I walk with a bit of an inverted step, so it's.
So maybe you're the one that's not appealing.
I'm the one with the unappealing.
Have you
walk.
ever thought somebody was following you?
No, I mean I really am quite oblivious. Like I've probably been, hunted. They've decided I'm unappealing, and they've peeled off, and I haven't even noticed.
Right. Okay. So wait. I pose you a scenario, James. So you're walking along. There is a woman in front of you. It's late at night.
Mhm.
Right. She thinks you're following. She starts walking unappealingly. She slows down. What do you do?
I slow down.
Yeah. But surely that like the whole staying 2 cars behind when you're following someone in a car. So now she stops, you've stopped, and you're just standing there in a scenario where you can't get past.
At that point, I would look, trying to assess if she was going to start walking again, and
she's turned around, James. She's looking at
panic,
you.
and then just cross the road suddenly.
So do you know what I do,
Into
James?
traffic.
Into traffic.
Do you know what I do, James?
What?
Right. So I'm walking along. I generally have headphones on. Yeah, same podcast. But, I still impeccable hearing. I hear footsteps behind me. Headphones off.
Yeah.
Sprint. Full pace, just directly where I'm going, just sprinting.
No, I mean I can't. I mean you could say this because again I'm quite oblivious. Like I haven't really ever noticed I've been in a situation where I'm freaking someone out. But like, I do tend to laugh out loud because I'm like very carefree at night. I can be myself. And
So all those internal laughs.
So like
that you
there's
do.
probably now I'm looking back and there's probably definitely been a situation where I've been kind of doing my weird like slow but methodical walk, kind of like to myself, and then just suddenly going and then because the thing is
By the way,
makes you
just for listeners,
unappealing.
that is very similar to his actual laugh. It is like a witch's cackle.
but I will like if I get so say for example if I'm too close to someone, if they start slowing down, like say I've been in situations where like someone has stopped and turned into a place and I've kind of got backed up on them because they've stopped, I'll just like veer off into the road to go round them rather than cross their space. Like I will put myself in harm's way to avoid getting too close to them.
Jonah, you say that like you often feel like you're freaking people out.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? You're just walking down the street like, fuck, another one again.
Especially seeing it's
I think
getting hot.
there's no better way to creep someone out than to see a person, see a woman, and just go, "Fuck, another one," and then just walk off, and then just be like, "What did I do?"
They're everywhere these days.
I think what I'm saying is the statistics are against you. There are more women in the world.
Yeah, by a couple of percentiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is obviously like, you know.
Yeah, it's like 52 to 48.
Yeah. But I
Do you
mean,
see
that's still like, you know, millions upon millions of women. Like, you know, if you were to get all the men and all the women to fight.
Wait,
They'd
there's
have
millions of women, James?
yeah, actually, there's a few.
It's just millions?
No, what I'm
No
saying is-
population
No,
of
just
8
wait. You
billion
didn't
now.
let me finish. I was going to say there's millions upon millions more women than men with that 1-2%
right.
percentile. So if you were to get all the men and all the women to get up to battle, like, the odds would be in favour of the women, like
Apart
decisively.
from the fact they're underrepresented in the armed forces.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you got everyone to fight in like a big grudge match, let's
Yeah,
say everyone just goes down to Mexico.
So yeah, civvies like us, we are swamped by the numbers. But I'm just saying, like, men are overrepresented in all the places with the guns.
No, but this is just a. I don't know what I'm
Nice.
picturing. It's like a battle royale. Like everyone just base jumps into Mexico and just fights it out.
And Mexico's like, why here?
Why are you in this place?
Well, actually, that's a fair point. If you weigh up the fact that women more often take self-defense classes and more men are in the army, you've probably got about the same amount of hand-to-hand combat.
I'll tell you what. I'm not coming out of that one. Like they're gonna find me hiding in the cupboard.
James, would
I'm
they,
just
even, would they even get you at the plane? Would you base jump?
Have you not seen the speed in which James can run backwards? He's going to be walking down the street. He sees a woman approaching, looking menacing. He's going to start sprinting backwards away from
James
her.
is talking like a kind of PUBG Fortnite setup
Yeah.
where everyone jumps out of a plane.
with an umbrella or something.
Yeah, you
Okay,
land.
so Fortnite.
You land, rummage some houses, immediately just guns on the floor. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
But I'm just saying,
You get
James,
shot,
would
energy
you, would
drink.
you be okay with jumping out of a plane?
I'd never be okay with jumping out of a plane. That's actually one of my big things. I would not. Like, loads of people are like, it makes you feel alive and whatever. And
James
I'm
is
like,
scared
what if
he's
the
going to
plane
end up
was
in the
crashing?
ocean and
Oh, yeah,
a
of
white
course.
shark has got its mouth open just
Yeah,
right
that
there
is
waiting.
that is the nightmare. It's getting blown off of my Surrey Fields kind of base jumping experience into Cornwall, where it just happens to be a great white that occasionally turns up and goes like, yo, and then swims off again.
It's doing the Jaws thing.
Yeah.
You're falling from the sky.
No, I'd have a heart attack. Like if I fell overboard into sea, and there was anything vaguely looking great white like or shark like,
So like a catfish, dogfish.
no, like a
that.
dogfish I could deal with. Like, you know, it's not like
Could
a
wrestle that one.
Yeah, I could, you know, but I mean, if there was a big ominous shape in the water,
Like a seal.
yeah, probably.
The thing is,
I went like.
Would you just go?
No,
go
because I went coast-steering once, and coast-steering is basically where you just go to a rocky shore and you jump off of stuff into the sea, and it's a lot more fun than it sounds by that strange description. And there was a bit where there was this big rock out, kind of not in open ocean, but it was, you know, it was on the edge of the coast, the last bit before you were just at sea, and we were all swimming towards that as a group very leisurely. Loads of seals start going swimming, loads. I mean, loads of sea lions have just decided this is their time to just start panicking and flipping the fuck out. And I'm sitting there in my little coast-steering helmet, my life jacket on, and I'm like, it's okay. And then I was like, great whites hunt sea lions. Maybe that's what they're scared of. Maybe one of
You're
those.
like, of course, the famous British great white.
And I was
yeah,
like, maybe
you,
one.
you
of
look
them-
up. There's one coming out of a plane.
and I was like base jumping, and I was like, well, maybe one could have just. I mean, I was in Wales.
Snuck in.
I don't know why I was. But it's not rational fear. This is what you guys do not understand. You're putting logic to an irrational fear of sharks, and I'm sitting there in the water. I see these sea lions go. I suddenly think, what if one great white decided to take a little trip to St David's, Wales? And I start swimming at such an insane rate that the coast-steering guy was like, can you come back, please? Like, you're getting too far ahead there. And I was like, I was gone. And then we had to get through what you call a toilet, which is where when the tide goes in, it swells
shit
and
in
then
it.
it drags you out again very quickly. And he was like, all right, guys, so this is what you have to do. And I just went for it in one, latched onto that rock like a barnacle, scrambled up and was on it. And he was like, oh, that's a really good way to do it. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. And I was just there like, I'm out of the water now, you can't get me. So all of that was because I used to be the fastest swimmer in my swimming lessons because I had an insane phobia that there would be sharks in the pool. And I would just swim so quickly.
I was really backing up like for so long. Like in my head, I was thinking, you know, fear of sharks, fear of essentially falling. not really like phobias, like something that is well known for killing and eating things, and
Yes. Rational.
yeah, rational fears. Like I was
In Wales,
I
less so.
was there. Like I know a person that has a fear of swans and Sean Connery. So like together.
Sean Connery,
Hashtag
pedalo.
Sean-
and more than 2 nipples. So like the idea of Sean Connery riding a swan with 3 nipples. Weird.
Next to Lily Allen, who's exposing her breasts.
No, but
she has.
no, but like but that's the thing, like that they are irrational fears. Maybe not a swan. They can still break bones.
Sean Connery with a swan.
Yeah.
No, Sean Connery will slap you. That's a fear.
I was going to say, for
With
a
a
woman,
swan.
For a woman, I feel like Sean Connery is a fairly rational fear.
Yeah.
Rampant misogynist.
No, but so the kind of the frantic way that James climbed atop that little rock, is that the same way that you try and avoid situations where you're kind of walking
Near
behind
Sean
a woman
Connery.
late at night?
Oh, what, like climb a wall or something?
Yeah,
But I was really
just
backing you
blend
up.
in.
I was backing up because I was like, yeah, there's no irrational fears. But the fact that you were in a swimming pool, I'm assuming it was also indoors.
Yes.
It was an indoor swimming pool. There we go. And you thought there was
In,
going
like,
to
in
be
like
a
the
shark.
Surrey area,
Yes.
so not even like coastal.
No,
In the Swan Garden
very
Thames.
landlocked
I used to
county that one.
So basically, a lot of it comes from the fact that my dad decided, rather than
When
helping
you were
me-
2, he took you cage swimming with the sharks.
No, my dad, because my dad is what you could describe. He, as an adult, I can appreciate his humour. As a child, there's a lot of issues that we need to talk about. And
Have you talked about them?
no,
You want to add them here?
He told me when Mum was trying to explain to Dad that, like, for some reason our son seems to be, because this is when I was very young, obviously, like the fear of Yetis that ended. Even though I didn't know what a Yeti was, I was scared of it.
Weird words.
And no, I was just scared that I was honestly genuinely terrified as a child that the Yeti was going to climb in my window and hypnotise me and eat me. So I wouldn't let. I don't know. I don't know where I got the assumption that Yetis had the power to hypnotise people, nor why a Himalayan folklore was going to be outside my window wanting to hypnotise me.
You didn't know where the Himalayas were.
Didn't know any of this. I didn't know what
Exactly.
a Yeti was. I was just terrified that the
You probably
Yeti,
thought the Surrey Hills were
Yeti
the Himalaya-
territory. and then Yetis became sharks.
I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
When Yetis become sharks.
Yetis turned to sharks, and my mum was like, "Richard, we got to talk about this. Like, our son is quite scared of sharks. As in, like, I mean, but he keeps demanding we buy him shark books, like he's Van Helsing trying to research vampire killing, like." Because I would buy all the shark books and I'd be poring over them, shark attacks, how
They have to
sharks
have a weakness.
work. Yeah, basically, I was obsessed with them. Like, I know everything about sharks. I know my enemy.
Wooden stakes.
Punch your whole fist into their gills. That's what you do. The nose won't work. The nose will not work. And my mum was like, Jane, like, Richard, our son really enjoys swimming, but he also seems to be terrified of sharks to the point where he's scared that they're behind him in a pool, even though there's just a kid weeing in the corner. So my dad saunters up to me. We're in this swimming pool called Coral Reef, which is a very big kind of like fancy.
Oh, yeah,
it's one
awesome,
of the, it's one of those like more
Flumes.
and kind of rather than like just an Olympic pool. And there are a load of kind of barriers with like grates, grates under the water. My dad saunters up to me and goes, James, that's where they keep the sharks at night. And anyone who's not out of the pool by the time they want everyone out, they just let the sharks in. They raise the gates and out come the sharks and devour anyone left in the pool. But they'll wrap the tarp over the top so they don't have to watch you die and you'll be dead under there, like pressed against the horrible plastic being devoured by a child.
Whoa. So your mum says, right, Richard, I think our son has real issues. And what he does is basically just pokes the beast.
Yeah. So what I would do then is I would not go anywhere near those things, anywhere near them at all in Coral Reef. So I would go straight to the centre of the pool and just stay there, going under the water with my goggles, looking into the depths of this like grate, being like, I know you're in there. It was I'm a quick swimmer though, that's for sure.
Okay, so 25 minutes into the podcast, shall we get into some segments?
Sure, yeah. I still haven't answered your question, but
Go on, answer the question, then we shall dive in.
I think I'm just aware of how I look. Like, I don't smile a lot. I'm quite tall.
That's what we were talking about. We were
Yeah.
talking about the fact that you think you look creepy.
And I'm quite...
No, John actually looks exactly like a shark.
Yeah. I've got multiple rows of teeth. It's really awkward. It takes like ages to brush them. You have no idea.
For it,
Served me well when I was fighting Yetis, though, hand to hand. Just bite the
What if they
chunks out.
hypnotise you?
Yeah, climb into little boys' bedrooms.
Mirrored sunglasses. This defeats them.
Hypnotise themselves.
to paint an image, Jonah is a strapping, tall young man. Yeah, late at night, that's probably quite a scary thing for a woman. Somebody big and assuming.
And I'm just quite insecure about what people think of me. I just assume the worst.
Oh.
So if anyone like walking near me even shows any awareness of the fact I'm there, I'm like, they're terrified. They think I want to kill them. I don't want to kill them.
Don't make me.
You forced me to do this.
I don't want you to tell people this is what I look like.
Just there like Obi-Wan, like you've done this yourself.
with your persuading walk.
Should have limped more.
Do you think at any point, like, you've just done something weird and somebody just thought, like, you had a
mental disability? No, hit me.
No, like the time I threw my sandwich across a bus.
What?
Right, okay. So, anecdote time.
That's what
very,
the
very
whole
quick
thing
one.
is, surely.
Very quick one.
I know James has, that he's told me about before when he was at school, but...
No, I did have ADHD and my parents refused to acknowledge it. Like, the entire world was like, put your child on some medication, and they were like, nah, he's fine.
Saul he's holding the teddy bear.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Titty bear.
What? No teddy bear?
He definitely said teddy bear.
bear.
You heard what you wanted there.
Yeah.
You could market a titty bear, though.
No,
I mean,
alright, so-
you're behind the times. Sex dolls are already a thing. No one's buying bears with tits.
Titty bear. The bear
Are
with
they-
breasts.
Are they furry tits or are they human tits on a teddy bear?
Oh, the strapline should be bear, its breasts.
No, but you know the whole, make a bear shops.
Magic knockers. The person's like, get out of this shop.
It's one thick bear.
Do you have any bears with gimp masks and massive tits?
No, but it could work out, because say, like, for instance, for kids, right? You know,
not for
as a
kids.
kid, you've got a cuddly toy. Why not that toy also has your mum's milk in it? You could,
Yeah, and looks like Nicki Minaj.
it's a thick boy.
So
you were talking
you
about
being
something.
considered mentally incapable. Continue that story.
Oh, no. Okay, so the scenario was that I would take a bus to work, and there was a subway by the bus stop, and I would sometimes buy a subway. Yes, I mean it's not. We're not
You do
advertising.
this? Yes, you buy
I
something.
mean, if we get sponsored by Subway, then fine. I'm happy. But
Yeah, please tell me how Subway want to sponsor the thing where you're talking about how their sandwiches made other people think that you had mental disability. I bet they can't wait to get themselves on our wagon.
Right. Okay. So I was on the bus, and I often watch like videos and things on my phone. So I'm there, like sandwich in one hand, phone in the other, and
Looking like an ordinary dude.
like balancing a drink essentially. So I'm holding all these items precariously balanced. I think my drink slipped, and I went to catch it, but then I realised that I had my phone in my other hand, so I was like, I can't use this hand. So what I did was I threw my sandwich to catch the drink, and essentially like this. I mean, I didn't purposely. It wasn't like an overarm. It was more like an accidental underarm toss down the middle of the not carriage but bus lane.
The alley.
Yeah. Yes. So obviously
Was it a strike?
people looked at me. I went, crumbs, and then just carried on.
I get it, 'cause sandwich, crumbs.
I know, but exactly. I was happy, but no, I was also very upset that I then couldn't eat my sandwich.
You launched your sandwich.
If no one was looking, I would have happily picked it up again and eaten it.
Everyone was all eyes were on you already.
Exactly. I didn't. I mean, waste not, one not.
I'd have eaten that.
Yeah, I would have eaten the sandwich.
Yeah, I'd have eaten the sandwich, like especially if it was a sub because you paid for.
Yeah.
Speaking of
It was a
time,
foot long.
I know
It's
it's not-
halfway through.
I don't think it's the thing that someone thought the person was mentally incapable.
24 inches.
But there is a very embarrassing story I have about Subway as well.
Was it the fact that you walked in and you saw there was a shark?
Yeah, and I was like, can't do it.
It's behind the
Again.
counter.
They're like,
That's
Shark
just-
Week special, and I was like, you bastards.
Did you hate when that meme was going
It's like a
around of the
tiger
left
shark, like
shark?
lettuce.
No, I'm not
Katy
scared
Perry.
of sharks to the point the image of a shark scares me. I'm scared, which is a very real
You
phobia,
can watch Finding
of being
Nemo.
in the water when a shark is about.
What's that phobia called?
I'm surprised that you haven't looked it up.
no, I just scared.
He doesn't want to name his fear, then it's real.
But no, the time in Subway, in terms of Subway I know someone who had Subway relate to an awkwardness in their life too, where we were on a school trip with my college, and there was this, I won't say his name, but there was there was a student who nobody particularly liked because they were very, very arrogant and thought they were better than everybody else and spoke like this. And we all went to Subway and we were all buying food for lunch, and this guy orders this sub. He's really finicky about everything, you know, like, no, I want this and this and this.
And caviar, yeah.
Yeah, you know, kind of thing. Gets to the end, card declined. Boom. And so now you don't think about how awkward that situation would be until you witness it, which is the fact that Subway has the guy make the entire sandwich up to your exact tastes, is presented it on a little tray for you, like, now pay, and then it's like, boop, no pay. You know, and you can see the look of like, and the guy himself was there like, what do I do? Like, you know, I've made the sandwich. Like, you know,
Do I eat it?
yeah, and then it was just this really awkward moment. He was just like, my card must not be working. Just walks out, and that, you know, that old adage of like, oh, it's not working, flee. Because we've probably all been there where your car's been declined and you're like, time to run.
I can never go back to that place.
Yeah, never go back to that place. But
I know, no.
oh, look at Mr. Bourgeoisie over there.
Student loans, man.
yeah,
That's always stuff.
Wait. So you're fleeing? So that guy's fleeing from the subway.
No, he just leaves the Subway and he's saying, oh, it's their card reader's broken or something. And the guy just kind of gets the sandwich and just puts it down on another shelf. And I'm like, that was so awkward. I mean, especially because he'd been making such song and dance about how they had to get it spot on for him. Because like, say, you know, you go to a different fast food restaurant, let's say McDonald's. And you're like, can I have XXX? And they're like, yes, now pay before we prepare it. You know, it's not as if you're at the drive-thru, the person gives you all of the bags of food, you drive to the next window, card declined, and then they angrily take them all back.
Well, supermarkets. If you have a trolley full of stuff and then they scan it all through and like, can you pay for it?
Oh,
Then
that would
they'll
be
know.
terrible. Yeah, and then you're like, well, you just walk off. You
You should
know,
never go to that shop again.
never, ever, ever.
Because
Like,
there's something about human beings that makes you think that whenever you do something stupid and embarrassing, like,
They
even if
remember.
it was an accident, everybody remembers.
Yeah.
And they will never forget.
Even
or
though,
forgive
like,
you.
you know, like, for example, that the guy who worked in Subway had dealt with, like, 30 people. And would, like, a week down the line would not remember anyone.
no. Like, I mean, people struggle to remember people who point guns in their face. So,
They
But, I
remember
mean-
the gun, though.
they do remember the gun.
But I mean, like, from your experience of working in the service industry, did it not piss you off, or does it not piss you off when, like, you have people that come in and just expect you to remember them? They're like, they just think that out of the hundreds of people that you see, because they've returned a week later, you have to remember them and their order. Like, I think it's so presumptuous.
I do, and it's good customer service.
So we have something called regulars, though.
Yeah. And you have, like, say if you're working at McDonald's when you have, like, hundreds of people an hour, and some guy comes up and goes, the usual, mate, and you just look at him blankly and go, what do you want?
If you don't tell me, I'm just going to assume Big Mac.
Every time I get off my shift, not my ship,
Or even your shit.
every time I get off my shift, I will try and do something to remove the memory from my head of being on shift.
Yeah.
Whether that's drink myself into oblivion or get a small power drill and just buzz in my head, hoping that it will hit that memory in particular. I do not remember your order, nor your face, nor anything about you. What do you want so I can tap it into my screen, bash my head
well,
against it?
It's not the fact that somebody presumes that you remember them. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, we all kind of assume people remember.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that they make it more difficult to serve them because they... You know, they have that
Like,
expectation.
I feel like, especially because not many people do a lot of stuff to be very distinct. Like, you may remember the moment, but you don't remember the person. You know, if someone does something really silly, you'll be like, oh, I remember this time when someone did
No,
X.
you tried to pay, but you vomited on them.
Yeah,
instead.
you'll be like, I remember that.
difficult customers.
Yeah, but you don't particularly remember, like, everyone and their names and faces and orders and preferences. Like,
I can't relate too much because I haven't worked very much, A. And B, like, when I did work, it wasn't something you could really get repeat orders. Like, I sold shoes. It's not you don't really get, like, people.
Hey, back here a day later, mate. What's
did
the
you-
news?
Just the usual.
What did you do? It's like, oh, I keep like my dog loves him so much.
Just the usual, like, same pair again, please, mate.
It's something like
24 hours.
It's the leather. He loves it more than pedigree chum. Just feed it to the dog.
And I'm very rich.
Oh, in all fairness, I mean, in a scenario of being a shoe seller,
Yes.
I think that. I guess if they had a fetish of someone touching their feet, that'd be the only time that you'd have someone doing repeat
That
customers.
must be the worst. Oh, I just imagine working in Clark's and getting someone who has like a proper foot fetish, and you
you
have to do all the measuring, and they're like.
And you just step on that machine now,
Pardon?
and they're like, size 11, mate. And you're like,
That's why they
"Thanks,
brought the machine in rather than the little handy thing, because people were getting their rocks off.
Yeah,
Um,
that's exactly it.
when I was in school, because my feet are very, very thin, like
Like paper.
no, to the point where like I had to have specialist shoes made because I had like ballerina width, but like the length of a boy's, and they were there like, there's no shoe for you.
Converse.
Yeah.
It's very good.
No, but it's school shoes. I
Oh,
couldn't just
yeah.
rock up in Converse. It's actually because of my ballerina feet.
It's not a face, Mum.
I am a ballerina.
So I had to go to like this. I was in like.
Why didn't you wear ballerina?
Well, you're fast at swimming. Maybe,
Why
maybe
did
just
you wear
flippers.
ballerina shoes?
No, I mean to be fair, my feet have been a constant problem for me. Like they're like many components of very different aquatic animals shoved together. Like I have the flat duck feet with the the froggy web toes, ballerina feet for slim action through the water. I wasn't meant to
Ballerinas
walk.
are not aquatic animals.
No, I wasn't saying that, but I
You
meant
said,
like.
you said a combination of many aquatic animals, and then you said ballerina.
Yeah, but I was just attaching ballerina on there and hoping no one would notice. It was a tax. It was a money laundering thing, Joan.
Okay, guys, it's been half an hour and we haven't gotten to any of our segments.
Ow, it's still good content.
Okay.
We're going to make it, and they'll like it.
Right, so we're going to buzz through today in history because that's the bit that always takes us the longest. So, today is the 21st of April, my darling boys, and today is the historic day when Romulus and Remus founded Rome,
We think.
according to the traditional calendar. Any thoughts on that? Good bants?
James, I'm looking
job.
at you here.
Good job, Robinus and Remus.
Yeah, well
How
done.
did that milk taste whilst you were suckling it from
Hey,
the
hey,
mother?
hey, we're at the post-suckling era now. This is
Yeah.
the moment when they finally looked up from the tea and were like, let's found an empire.
So James,
And then almost immediately betray one another.
I was going to say, I feel like the sentiment was, let's have a fight,
so
Yeah.
for those who don't know the story, quick run through.
James.
A mother wolf just suckled these two orphan boys to health, and then they founded an empire.
They
Weren't
founded Rome.
weren't they sent from the palace like Moses style?
Yeah,
Like they're-
yeah, and they returned, and then they turned on one another eventually. But what?
Wasn't Rome a city of criminals?
Yeah, had to be to start off with because it was essentially there's a lot of mystery around the foundation of Rome. Like a lot of things to do with the fact that they're actually the Trojans. Who
Aeneas, yeah.
and another thing is the fact that what is sure though in actual history is in the early days of Rome they needed to boost their population, so they basically just let in all kinds of criminals, like anybody, like exiles,
And they
criminals.
didn't have any women,
Yeah.
so that's why they went like stealing them, right?
Yeah, they had to follow them, and then they slowed down with their limp.
A very persuading walk you've got there. Do you want to come be a Roman? And I mean, the foundation of Rome was a very big deal.
I heard there's loads of like controversy over how Romulus died, like because he died in very strange circumstances, and the people used to believe that he like ascended and became a god.
So many of the Roman aristocracy
Yeah.
would claim to be descendants of Romulus. Like, say, the Julii, which is obviously Julius Caesar's family, claimed to be able to prove that they were direct descendants of Romulus. And that's pretty much why, despite having no money for a long time, they're able to stay kind of relevant. Because they were like, Romulus was our founding family member. And that's pretty much what separated plebeians and patricians initially, was the people who claimed to have ties to very group heroes, because it was a big, how it was a very big thing about your blood being important. The same in the medieval era. A lot of people would go, "Oh, I'm descended from X," and the Roman patricians would often claim they were descended from a load of people, like the Emperor Vespasian when he took over the empire. A load of people approached him and were like, "We've proven that you're the son of, you're descended from Hercules," and he was like, "I'm not. Don't say that." And they were like, "Okay, I thought that would impress you." He's like, "No, like don't go around telling people this." But Vespasian was apparently quite down to earth for a Roman emperor, so because he was a soldier by trade and he took over the empire. But so yeah, they were like, "Oh, we can prove you're directly descended from Hercules," and he was just like, "Don't."
No way I'm following that.
Yeah, and they used to do that, so there was kind of a way of getting authority, and those bloodlines would be the reason why you had patricians, and then plebeians who were just, "And you are the filth whose mother was called Amanda, whereas my was a god."
But obviously, the founding of Rome changed history massively.
Absolutely.
And the really cool thing about Roman civilization is that it's much closer to how we live now than things around them.
There's a lot of
isn't
things. There's a lot of things that they were a lot more like when you compare it to say the Dark Ages and medieval customs. Like there was a lot of stuff that the Romans were a lot more advanced about than them. Like a lot of things. So
My issue, like I think the stories from antiquity are always really interesting, but the thing is that unless you go out of your way to actually read about them, say if you go to a museum, it's very difficult to kind of get in touch with them when all you're looking at is like fucking 300 vases. Like it's not presented as well as it could be.
So,
there are so many fun like banter stories that come like that came out of Rome that are true and are unbelievable because of the fact that there were such petty people at times. But when you're looking at a vase that's been restored, like I mean, with great talent and great effort, it just doesn't translate that somebody burnt down a bunch of ships just because they didn't like someone.
Also, I told you about the underground for Rome. The Italians are building an underground, but one problem that they're having is the fact that apparently that they keep hitting too much history whilst building it.
Oh, wow.
Because they just keep coming across Roman barracks and things like that, and they're just throwing it all away. They're just throwing away tons of pottery because they've just got so much of pottery. Like, they're just like, we don't need it anymore. Like, yes, we found another Roman pot.
Yeah.
But the thing is the fact that I mean it's like they had ideas of their currency and economics was really, really advanced to the point they had idea of inflation and an actual coinage value. So
didn't we talk about in the first episode with the big coin and the little ones?
No,
that
that's
was
medieval. Whereas the Romans actually had a amount of silver, say, per coin, and the imperial treasury used to put them out, and they actually had, in order to deal with inflation, they would often increase the amount of silver in a coin, therefore increasing its value and stuff like this. And people would have different coins minted, and it was actually a lot closer to more modern economic systems than, say, the medieval era, which was a lot of bartering and a very few amount of people actually had coin. Again, the Romans had the dole, which is something that we didn't really get until like David Lloyd George and the Pension Act, pretty much. But the Romans had the free grain allotment, which was given to them by Caesar, and then never given up. Despite the giant hole it was causing in their books.
You couldn't.
Yeah,
But what
so people were like, "We'll kill you." How about that?
But what I find really funny about nationalist British attitudes is this idea.
So amusing, all of it.
They are really hilarious because so much of our culture is stolen and borrowed and adopted from so many things.
well,
like our
everyone's
cities are called what they are because of like Roman influences.
And
Like,
Viking influences and Norman influences.
our cities are the way
German
they are.
influences.
Yeah, of course.
And French, especially. Yeah. I mean,
Scots, Irish, Welsh.
I mean, and also the thing I find quite interesting about, well, I mean, I find the whole thing about Romans interesting. I'm kind of obsessed. But
Sharks and Romans.
Sharks and Romans. I'm not scared of Romans though. I want to be one.
I want to be a shark. That's great.
I want to be a Romanized shark. The first cross-species Romanized person. You are officially a freeman, shark. No longer are you a slave. But I saw one.
First prefect of the Laurentian Abyss.
I saw one post someone put online that was like, the Romans didn't differentiate between skin colour. That wasn't how they operated.
That wasn't how they discriminated. That
No.
was
Yeah.
far too
And
lowly.
it was posted. It was posted like, you know, they was like, well, they didn't discriminate because of skin color. They didn't really do that. And I was like, no, they didn't. They actually did the process of Romanization, which was whatever territory you were in, if you could become a citizen of Rome, and as soon as you're a citizen of Rome, you were a citizen of Rome, nothing less. You know, you had all the rights and everything. Towards the end of the Roman era, a lot of people didn't want to be citizens because it meant you could get taxed, so they would try and stay freemen.
Stay profligate.
Yeah. But the thing is that the Romans did, it's like the Romans were so, you know, the person always presented this argument like the Romans were really noble for the fact that they weren't, you know...
Romans were woke, man.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the Romans were really noble because they didn't differentiate between skin colour. And I was like, yeah, they were good like that, but they also had this kind of opinion that they could enslave absolutely everyone, which is something that you shouldn't gloss over. Like, the fact is that you were either Roman or you were not.
Yeah, one of the most common forms of it's called debt peonage.
Yeah.
Which is if you fail to pay your debts, the person you owed money to was that, well, you're a slave now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where the Roman system like was built on the back of slavery. Like the Roman economy could not work without slavery. Hence the reason they had to do a lot of conquering, because we get to the point where we'd be like, some of our slaves have become freedmen, and then some of them become citizens, and now we need more slaves for the citizens. We need to go get more slaves, and we're going to get slaves. But the thing is also, everybody was doing that at the time. Like that was just the world of the early antiquities. Like the Greeks had
Well,
slaves.
if everyone
the Persians
told
had
you to
slaves.
jump off a cliff, would you?
No, I'm not saying that, but I mean, it's like often you see in media it tries to portray the Romans as these like slaving military kind of like, you know, like savages, if you will.
Like the Greeks.
And the Greeks were like these kind of enlightened people who are like, I'm more concerned with the understanding the world than I am beating people up in formation and enslaving everyone. But the Greeks had slaves. The Athenians were terrible warmongers. They weren't these enlightened, like, it wasn't this perfect intellectual, like, society of, like, let's learn everything. And those mean old Spartans keep being angry. No, the Athenians loved killing too. The Persians had vast amounts of
We
slaves.
just love killing as a species, and we love slavery. That's just the history of humanity.
Yeah.
But my main question is...
Really dark.
My main question is, why is it that, like, whenever you see, like, shows about Romans, they always have...
British accents.
British, like, I bet it's
I can
specifically
actually-
English
I can
accents.
actually
So do, like, the Empire have English
This
accents?
There's actually a thing
Do we
about
sound
this.
villainous as a
No,
nation?
well, we are, because this
I mean,
thing-
I guess we
Hollywood-
deserve the rep.
yeah,
We've
we do.
not invaded, 13 countries in the
4.
world?
Yeah. But-
4?
Yeah, there's literally 4. And,
think
so, and
it's
one
actually-
of them's Luxembourg, and that wasn't around.
But this is the thing, it's actually 22.
Oh,
But
22,
of those
no.
22 countries, only 4 of them are
Yeah.
have not been associated with an empire that we've been at war and invaded them at some point.
Yeah.
It's
I
like...
think Sweden? is
Yeah,
one of them?
Sweden's one of
And
them.
Luxembourg, but that obviously
Yeah.
wasn't around.
It's
when
like, but
we
we-
kind of stopped when we cooled down a little
Yeah.
bit.
But the thing is...
ran out of money.
Yeah, the thing
Yeah.
is that...
Why English accents then?
This is the thing, is I remember I noticed this about a couple of years ago. I was like, why do all the Romans have British accents? Like, you know, they're Italian, if anything. You know, they're not. But they're always there like, I say, Marcus Flavius, blah, 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 we're all very Roman here, aren't we? And it gets even crazy when you find out that people who've had to play Romans in films have actually had to, like, do it in a British accent. Like, the directors have been like, we've got to do it in a British accent. So, don't, you know, put the British accent on. You can't do your Irish accent. I mean, you know, because...
But
and
not
it's
Italian
because,
accent.
It's because Hollywood associates imperialism with the British, because obviously Hollywood is American, and who are the imperialistic power of the Americas? The British.
France. I mean, what?
No, but
Spain.
the British, yeah. I mean, every European power who could get a look in.
Except the Dutch. Ha-ha!
Yeah. Well, they got the Dutch East Indies, didn't they?
It's not in America, is it?
No, it's not.
They don't care.
They definitely got an island in the
guarantee-
Caribbean somewhere, the Dutch. I'm sure of it.
Oh, they've got Dutch Guyana,
They
Yeah.
had...
which is in South America.
They got some there. It's in America. That's
They
America.
had
Maybe
the island
Antigua?
of India, not Singapore.
Ceylon, as it was called,
Ceylon.
it's Sri
Ceylon.
Lanka now,
Ceylon,
but
yeah.
that was Dutch. Yeah, the Dutch did just rock up there.
Which is what makes Ceylon so interesting, because it still has so much Dutch culture.
Oh,
I lie. The Dutch had New York, and we swapped
yeah,
somewhere.
New Amsterdam. It was called.
We
New Amsterdam.
swapped something in the East Indies for New York.
Yeah. But the thing is,
They associate British accent with imperialism.
imperialism. So it's like usually when you see in Hollywood films the bad guys will have British accents because it's just associated with being more villainous.
Sometimes it's
But I
British.
find it
it's
really-
British actors. Sometimes.
Yeah, but I find it really funny that Americans, having done that, still like talk about. I saw an advert about like visit visit America, like
Yeah.
encouraging British people to visit America, and their strapline was "Go somewhere where your accent is an aphrodisiac." So like our accents are like notoriously sexy, which I find really funny considering that we like play most of the villains in their show.
Well, that's the thing. Americans all have a submission fetish.
That's why they've got their guns
me
in
wrong.
case it gets too
Yeah,
strong.
yeah.
And they're just
It's, what are you calling the War of Independence just their bratty phase?
playing hard to
Oh, they
get.
just wanted us to punish them.
They're playing hard to get.
It's Washington just like spank me like you did at Bunker Hill.
Yeah. No, they spanked us at Bunker Hill, if anything.
Did not give a fuck though.
But with Bunker Hill,
Still won.
yeah, we did. It was a Pyrrhic victory, if anything. Like, it cost us a lot more than it should have.
I think that Pyrrhic victory still has the word victory in it though.
Spoken like Xerxes, looking over the thousands of Persian dead and spotting suspiciously few red cloaks amongst them. But the thing is, we were saying about the Romans thing. I actually found this out about HBO's series Rome. It was a co-effort made by HBO and the BBC. And when HBO broadcast in America, there were 12 episodes that had all been edited out, and it's all about Julius Caesar's rise to power and, well, not rise to power, but, you know, nicking of said power.
Constant battle with debt.
Yeah. But it's at the edge of that you can't catch me debtors, and it's more of that I'm now going to be dictator for life. You really can't catch me now, debtors. And it's set all about that. But when the BBC broadcast in Britain, they mangled it up into only 10 episodes to air. And their justification for this, and how pretentious this was, like, the British audience already know the history, so we didn't waste their time with all that explanation, and made this messy, non-make-sensical kind of couple of episodes, because they just cut all the scenes out. And I'm like, now, I am British, and I have spoken to several British people, unsurprisingly, and I can tell you right now that, no, they do not know the history at all. They look at me blankly when I say many names, to the point where even I would go like Emperor Augustus, and they'd be like, "'Tis a fancy word."
But James,
And
to
I'm
be
like-
fair, a lot
yeah.
of Roman leaders had very similar names.
Yeah, but they don't know that they're Roman. Like, you mean, like, you know, they kind of be like, if you say Augustus, they're like the month. Like, I'm just saying that the British public
Look,
do
I
not
feel
know
actually
Roman
it's
history
more
well.
like Augustus Gloop.
Yeah,
No, but
yeah.
I would say, on a general note, as somebody who's come into this country from elsewhere,
Outsider.
outsider,
Mm.
outlander, I think British education is a lot more world aware for geography and history than American education. For
Yeah,
example.
American education.
Like they
is-
don't. Their understanding of geography is appalling.
Well,
like,
it's the old joke that when Bush invaded Iraq, most Americans had to look up on a map what Iraq was.
They actually did a test where they got a globe and 100 Americans, and it was
Yeah.
unmarked. And they asked them to point to Iraq, and as many pointed to Iraq, being 3, as also pointed to the United Kingdom.
Well, I mean,
Most pointed to Mexico.
but
Yeah.
okay, wait. We point fingers at the general public of America, but let's not forget that when Brexit was happening, one of the biggest things that was Googled was what is the European Union and what does it do for us?
That's
yeah,
so true.
that
Like
is so
the
true.
fact that we had no idea
The thing is-
why we in it.
I think
we have no
even-
moral high ground to stand on
Yeah.
anymore.
The thing is with the EU, though, is even people who actually work with the EU have sometimes been like, what does it do?
Yeah.
The thing is, though, I have to say this: it's quite simple. Why? Because the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree.
Very far from the tree.
It's very far from the far tree. No, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Therefore, like the Americans not understanding geography is just the sins of us not understanding geography, where we're just being like, "What's that place there?" It's well, I
Going to
can't
be-
pronounce that. Let's invade it and change its name.
spoken like Churchill. That's what, like, you know, in his I can't remember who it's either you or someone else. But in that there's the
What Noel's doing? It was either you that told me or someone completely different.
it's called it's all covering the bases, here, right?
Like, it was either you that told me that or literally any other person.
But in his Iron Curtain speech,
Yeah.
one of the other things he says in that is he hopes that Britain will be to America as Greece was to Rome, and that they will take up the mantle,
Wow.
which is great, isn't it? That's where our mantle's gotten.
Yeah.
They dragged it to
We've
the
not
dirt.
been doing very well as a planet.
To be fair,
Last
since
couple
the
of years.
Americans.
As a planet, wow.
No,
Yeah.
point out, guys. Let's hear this out. Like, so, let's say America is one of the superpowers of the world right now.
Let's
They are. Okay. And there's been suspiciously less mass murdering under their watch than, say, the British Empire, where we were like, oh, look, strap them to cannons and blow holes in their chest. Yeah, that was fun. Let's do something else. I'm just saying that, like, the Americans have been a little bit less mass murdery than the British in their reign.
I feel I would sooner say that they had the good sense to get other people to do it.
Yeah.
Like you want to go to like Damascus now and say, you know what, guys, there's less rampant murder in the world right now.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying the British Empire was a lot.
I mean, there is the statistics show that violence as a whole in all the recorded history of mankind is on a downward trend, but at the same time,
still around. That's morbid. The Romans, though, pretty good at violence. Back to the Romans. They liked it.
So, going to another very momentous event in history that happened
only one
today.
thing that happened today.
I promised a quick blitz through, but what
You
can I
lied.
do?
Pull up Rome!
You can't bring up
true,
Rome in
that's
this
true.
room.
Yeah.
It is mother to us all.
So another
after all.
momentous event of the 21st of April is, of course, the premiere of Shrek Forever After, starring
Equally important to
Mike
the founding
Myers,
of Rome.
When you were writing this document, did you not just gloss over that?
No, I
I
didn't.
can't believe it
because
goes,
I wanted...
Rome founded, Shrek 4 came out. Like,
Oh, it's the fourth one.
Yeah, because basically what I wanted to talk to you guys about is like...
I didn't even know there was a fourth one. Was that actually the fourth?
Yeah, it was. It's called Forever After.
So lame.
I would... It's not my... Why are you all groaning like I came up
God's
with it?
sakes, Val.
Wow, why did you...
had
No, I'm
nothing
just
to do
laughing.
with this.
It's
I
just-
was
it's just...
15?
There's like significant historical events, and it's like there's like this cliff is like a black hole. How it's just gone from founding of Rome in terms of importance to just Shrek
This
4.
this podcast is always going to be tonally all over the place.
There's peaks,
So,
there's troughs.
yeah.
I just love the idea of someone being there, like in history, being like, "Why is this day important?" So I'm like, "Well, of course it was an important day." Shrek 4 came out, but anything else that happened on this day, they're like, "Nothing of any importance." I mean, Shrek 4 is the biggest thing.
Okay, I wanted to talk about Shrek in general because when I watched it for the first time as a child, I thought it was a great film. So I didn't expect to be 20 years... When I was 20, I think that's when the all of the weird memes started coming out about
Shrek
Shrek.
is love, Shrek is life.
Yeah, those
I
ones.
think Shrek is the best example how 4chan can destroy something in
Pure.
an instant. Because, let's not lie, that Shrek was a production probably with hundreds, if not thousands of people involved, marketing campaigns across the globe, was considered a hit, was funny, adults liked it, children loved it, had this reputation it kind of cultivated, and then kind of destroyed a bit before Shrek is
Yeah.
Love, Shrek is Life at the end, but kind of just pooted out, went away.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
yeah.
children's film. Excellent. People like Shrek. He's a funny ogre. One green post ruined that. Just one person sat down. Do you think that they... Because that's a historical moment.
Yeah, of
Tell me
course.
the moment that one person killed that entire franchise and turned Shrek into this awful thing that people cannot not... Like, if you're on the internet, you do not associate Shrek with the films anymore.
No.
You associate him climbing in your window at night and pleasuring you against your will because of one person.
It wasn't against his will.
No, good point. It was
It
Yeah.
was a reluctant.
no, it was not reluctant. It was
he pushed
eager.
into it. He even says.
Yeah, of course, yeah, he does. He does.
But the point
I
is that
apologise.
one person did that. It's the kind of the will of a single man countered all of this effort, marketing, millions of dollars of branding, script writing, CGI animation, and one person just went click, click, click in like less than 100 words. Done.
Yeah.
Reputation
Yeah.
over.
And that's why Shrek 4 is as important as Rome being founded.
Yeah,
course.
I'm just saying right now. I feel like that is for me. If there's ever going to be a title of meme historian, I hope that could be used to exemplify the power
The
of
power
the
of meme.
To be like this one event. That's when the tables have turned. Like that's why I
I've
don't want to
got
ever wind up.
I've
4chan.
got another moment like that. Cadbury were using the drumming gorilla for ages, and then Harambe happened, and they stopped.
I'm pretty sure those adverts stopped quite a few
while- yeah,
years
yeah.
before
It
that.
wasn't as if
Yeah,
it was just like
that
it was
ad was
around
around for like a.
They were planning to put a baby in the gorillas.
I mean, it'd be
and they
very.
were like, "Eh."
I mean,
After this bit
No,
on the
but
nose.
that's-
I don't know if you know this about advertising, Val, but generally
no,
they try
it's
and
all
keep
the
things.
same.
For, yeah, it's
It's
not,
all
they
the same.
don't generally
It's all
keep
the
the
same. It's all
same
the
advert
same.
for
But can I
years.
point out, as a meme historian, the reason when you bring up Harambe,
Giving yourself that title.
no, it was appointed by the people.
Miss Story?
Right, so the thing about the Harambe meme is people go like, why did this stick around so much? And I have a theory.
Because it annoyed people.
No, because it couldn't be turned into an advertising campaign, because the life cycle of a meme is this. Most memes...
Shrek is Life, Shrek is Life.
No,
Good.
just wait. Most memes born on 4chan, Shrek is still around. People still know about it. People still talk about Shrek. Whereas a lot of memes filter off and die and they're just not funny anymore. Whereas someone brings up Shrek being weird and perverted, you're still a bit like, Shrek.
Yeah, like when the Charlie Sheen thing was happening, they somehow managed to kind of
Yeah,
take
still trying to
advantage of
take
that,
advantage
yeah.
of it. This is what happened. The life cycle of a meme is this. It starts off on 4chan, pretty much. It's born amidst fire and despair. And eventually it bleeds out to these kind of secondary source websites, these kind of, and it's considered quite fresh. Then this is, and it reaches its kind of peak popularity, and then it hits a very particular hurdle, which is the beginning of the end for the meme, which is it hits 9gag. And immediately it's dying, that meme. It's reached its peak, it's being left by its followers, gaining more traction. Sure, it still looks like the meme is healthy, but it's now stale. It's now dying.
It's like a malignant tumour.
Then it hits that, pretty much the graveyard of all memes, which is Facebook.
Zuckerberg.
Hits Zuck boys, and suddenly it's on Facebook. And then, when it's truly dead and buried, what will happen is someone will decide at that point, the marketing world will realise that it can be marketed, will try and make an advert, it will be cringy as hell, and the meme is officially dead.
Oh, like Success Kid.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
People still I feel bad for that meme because as soon as they started using it for advertising, the picture of the kid, and I started using it, but they used it incorrectly, and then just
That's
you
what
feel
hurts me so
bad.
much when people use memes.
But this is the
If you're a
thing,
millennial freak, you feel bad for an abstract thing. You feel bad for a meme.
that's just because I'm very new age. I like to feel bad for the abstract.
You're a woke little cuck as it were.
The material doesn't matter. People dying in the streets, whatever.
But the abstract suffers every day, or doesn't. It's a bit vague. The thing is,
James, are you assuming it's suffering?
I assume nothing, other than the fact that I'm on its side.
Well, it's essentially the attitudes. Whatever you're doing, I'm cool with it.
But the thing is, so every time it hits marketing, it's dead. That's when it's dead. Officially, the meme is dead. But the problem with Harambe is
Oh
this.
God, do you remember that KFC?
You can't meme a dead gorilla. You can't meme a dead. You can't meme a dead. You can't market
you
that.
can't advertise
you
the
can't
death
be-
of gorillas.
Yeah, sorry, you can't. I meant you can't market it. You can't be
It's
there like
evidently
buy a
memes.
BMW. It's like being tossed around by a beloved gorilla and being shot. Like you couldn't do it. So all of a sudden, like there was an interruption in the life cycle.
5 gum.
Push.
Yeah, I thought my version of it was more the fact that the reason why it kept going was the fact that people were like, this is horrible. I can't believe people are making jokes about this. So then people were like,
Yeah,
we're just going to continue making jokes about this
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Because Harambe took shots for us, so we have to
Yeah.
take shots for
Yeah,
us.
but
I
the
mean,
point-
pants down for
the point is that
bringing it back. I mean, it's 2018, but yeah, sure.
But the point is that the Harambe meme couldn't go through the normal life cycle because it couldn't hit that final graveyard and die with the marketing people getting their fingers into it. Because again, no one wants to. The Cadbury wants to bring back the gorilla, have him get gunned down mid solo. Money, they weren't going to do it. So, bang! Gorilla falling back slowly,
Step away from the drum kit.
But the point is that, yeah, and that's the life cycle of a meme, and I feel like that's why they can't do it. So occasionally you get these memes that pop up that just kind of hang around a bit. And like Shrek, for example, has a whole team of people dedicated to trying to get this reputation of the Shrek is love, Shrek is life off, and it's never going.
Yeah.
Well,
Once
James,
it's on the internet, it's on
I'm
the
sure to someone somewhere what you just said made sense.
Me.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Sil.
Or not me. Maybe someone else.
Well, that's a bit of a waste. The only person it made sense to is in the room with.
Maybe some other people
Hello.
understand the life cycle. Maybe people. I'm going to be giving lectures in the future. I'm going to be an old man like the life cycle of a meme.
I hope it's on the curriculums.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to some other things that happened today. We've got the Beatles meeting the Rolling Stones for the first time. Another rivalry, very much like Romulus and Remus.
I wish the Rolling Stones had killed the Beatles.
Yeah, I do too.
I heard the Rolling Stones shat in their orange juice or something like that.
There's
Yes.
many. You know how corrupt the police were, right? So obviously the Rolling Stones were associated with the whole rock and roll party lifestyle, And
You're shooting in orange juice.
yeah, so were the Beatles. The Beatles were doing loads of drugs too, but they had this whole family-friendly thing, you know.
It's where Ringo looks like he does.
Yeah, like the Beatles would sing songs like "I Want to Hold Your Hand," whereas the Rolling Stones would sing songs like "Little Red Rooster," which
I want
was
to
all
shit
about-
in your hand.
which
and
is
then
I
your
want to shit in your orange juice.
Well, yeah, the Rolling Stones have a song that's just called "Rocks Off."
Yeah, which is so. Of course, they were not very family-friendly, whereas the Beatles were. So they were sanctioned basically by the British government to be like, you know, control these horny teenage girls, which is, you know, always dangerous. That's like holding back the storm.
No,
But
can't control the girls.
that's what I'm saying. And the Beatles were doing all that, and then the Rolling Stones wanted to go to a party, and George Harrison was at the party, completely zonked, may I add, on something. And the police waited for George Harrison to leave before they swooped in and arrested the Rolling Stones. Because they're like, can't arrest the Golden Boys, and he was there the same as them. And
So what you're saying is the fact that it's very similar nowadays
yeah,
with celebrities.
I've got actually
Yeah.
a really interesting story to tell you guys about a rivalry that went sour. This is a story from America, and a film recently came out about it, starring Margot Robbie, called I, Tonya.
this happened today.
This happened on the 22nd of April. In 1994, she was suing her ex-husband for £42,500, and sorry, $500. And the reason was, so Tonya Harding was one of the biggest ice skaters at the time.
Oh, I know the story.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
it's really crazy. So the scandal occurred about 20 years ago now, but the movie came out recently because this was such a highly publicized case. Basically, so Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan were two ice skaters kind of like on the rise, and they were very different. So whereas Nancy Kerrigan came from a very wealthy background, she was kind of like considered like the white collar skater, very talented girl. Tonya Harding came from a much poorer background. She had a rough upbringing and was also just as good, supposedly. So Tonya was the first American woman to land a triple axel, and in the 1991 US figure skating championship, and she ended up getting a perfect score and won first place. And then at that time, Kerrigan received bronze, and they had a lot of kind of bad vibes between them because they kept competing against one another. In 92, Kerrigan took home the bronze, whereas Harding only got a fourth medal, so there was loads of tension between them, and they were making really big names for themselves, but Kerrigan had more sponsorships from like Campbell's, Seiko, Revlon and Reebok, because she had a much better association with her because she was wealthier, and brands didn't want to bet on somebody who was just as volatile as Tonya, because Tonya was a good sportsman, but
Sportswoman.
sportswoman, but her persona didn't kind of win over the public the same way that Kerrigan did. And then, so Harding and Kerrigan were practicing for the championships in Detroit in 1994. And that night, before the qualifying skate, Kerrigan was walking off the ice after practicing when she was struck on the knee with a baton. And the assaulter was a man hired by Harding's ex-husband, who basically the attack was caught on tape and meant that Kerrigan couldn't compete. So Tonya supposedly actually asked her husband to do this for her so that she could compete in the Olympics, but Kerrigan couldn't. So tomorrow will be the day when she started suing her husband for kind of doing this, because
Wait, she sued her own husband for doing something that she supposedly requested.
Allegedly, yeah. that's the point.
Allegedly, yeah.
Well, I
because
think from what I remember, it got back to, essentially, the police looked into the assault.
yeah, and the men
It got back to her ex-husband, and her ex-husband essentially said, "Tonya told me to do it," and
Yeah.
then Tonya sued him for something like libel or something like that.
So they made it known that like Harding was behind the thing, but to this day she stands by the fact that she didn't have any involvement in it. She then, because of this, the US Olympic Committee wanted to disqualify Harding, but then she came back with a 25 million lawsuit against them. They allowed her to compete for the title. Basically, Harding was allowed to compete, and then but then Kerrigan made like a surprise recovery and ended up taking like the silver, whereas Harding was competing in the same tournament and didn't even skate because one of her laces broke before she took her turn. Like, she was really kind of unnerved by the whole thing, and she started to cry, and the judges allowed her to skate a little later on, and Harding took 8th place. So there's this after this whole debacle of her supposedly, allegedly, asking her husband to hire someone to injure Kerrigan. Kerrigan makes a recovery, goes into the Olympics, wins silver. Harding goes in, clearly like isn't like in the right headspace, starts crying about the fact that her lace broke. The judges take pity on her, give her the opportunity to skate again, and she basically fucks it and gets in its place. And so following this, because her career was as good as over, she basically sued her husband for this amount of money. And there we go. That's the story of Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan.
Fair enough.
It's quite interesting because a lot of the time I think in films and stuff like this we see these stories where like the underdog tends to be the poor girl, and then the person who kind of is an established sports personality like Kerrigan tends to be the one that wants to play dirty because they're so overwhelmed with the fact that something like this could happen. So it's really interesting that this is a real life story where that's the complete opposite, where you see
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And that wraps us up for today in history. Very few stories today because I knew that there were big conversation topics and this was all definitely very much planned. Okay, so we'll be coming back with some famous facts where we've got some hot boys. We've got Charlotte Bronte, Vladimir Lenin, Betty Page, Elizabeth II, James Newell Austenberg, or Iggy Pop, and Jack Nicholson.
I was going to say, I never heard of James
There's more than
Stewart.
2 people we know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
3-way high five.
No.
And so here we go, famous facts. So today on the table we've got 1816 Charlotte Bronte, English novelist and poet. 1870 Vladimir Lenin, revolutionary politician and political theorist. 1923 Betty Page, model and style icon. 1926 Elizabeth II, British monarch. 1947 James Newell Austenberg, or Iggy Pop as he's more commonly known. And 1957 Jack Nicholson, actor. Of course, if you haven't heard this segment before, of course, if you haven't played Famous Facts with us before, Famous Facts is a segment where I go through different people who are born today, so today is the 21st, and look up their biographies, pick out random facts, and your job as the players is to match up the person with the facts. So here we go. Fact number 1. So this person was born to an exotic dancer, never certain over the identity of their own father, and went on to vandalise cars.
Queen Elizabeth II.
Scandalous.
Okay, so James, you've gone for Lizzie.
No, I was. I guess I'm locked in.
Is that your final answer?
Chris looked at you and was like, final answer?
And I was like, "No, I was being sarcastic, Chris." And he was like, "Why are you wasting my time? Get off my show."
And you're like 50-50. It's like, you've already used that one.
Joe, who are you going for?
Who are the options again?
Charlotte Bronte, Lenin, Betty Page, Elizabeth II, Iggy Pop, or Jack Nicholson?
I'm going to say Iggy Pop.
I'm going to say the first one.
Charlotte Bronte.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're all fucking wrong.
So this person was kicked out of university, loved cats, and saw Germany as the most culturally progressive country. Is
Vladimir Lenin.
Yes, I forgot how long ago in 1816. I wasn't really paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're both wrong.
So you've gone for Lenin,
I agree with James.
and
Lenin?
okay.
Oh, wait, did someone else go for
We
Lenin?
all said
We all
Lenin.
said Lenin.
Oh.
Okay. This person was born into a nomadic lifestyle to an English teacher and a baseball coach, and loved other people's paintings.
Queen Elizabeth II. I will say.
You already gone for her.
Yeah, I know I've already gone for her. I've already bagged Lizzie with not knowing who her dad is. And been, no, I will go with. I'll go with Iggy Pop.
Iggy Pop,
Betty Page.
Betty Page.
God damn, I was going to go Betty Page.
You can go for Betty Page. So this person has an ATM in their house and once got given a purple fleece dog bed by a fan.
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
I've already said Iggy Pop, so I'll say Jack Nicholson.
I'm going to go for Quizzy Lee.
Quasimodo.
Yeah, no, Queen Elizabeth the second.
Quizzy Lee.
I like that as a nickname. Oh, it's old Quizzy Lee.
I'm not sure how she feels about it.
I love it. It's my stage name.
Well, you know she
I never
listens.
knew my father,
So this person was. This person was.
and my mother used to jiggle her big old breasts around for money.
It's not like her dad was like anyone famous, like George VI.
Yeah, it's not important to who she is that her dad was a particular person. No.
Sorry, Val. Who is the next fact?
Next fact is, this person was a keen student with a passion and love of Christianity. Is it Charlotte Bronte, Vladimir Lenin, Betty Page, Elizabeth II, Iggy Pop, or Jack Nicholson?
I feel like Charlotte Bronte. I haven't said Charlotte Bronte.
Okay.
God, Iggy Pop it is for Saul.
I'd say Queen Elizabeth, being head of the church and all of that.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for one fact.
She
be
does
said.
go to church. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I do know.
That is a
I've
defining
checked
fact.
in her records.
Okay, and
I
we've
followed
got,
her there.
we've got a fact that's almost supernatural. This person can read in the dark better than in the light. Is it Charlotte Bronte, Vladimir Lenin, Betty Page, Elizabeth II, Iggy Pop, or Jack
I
Nicholson?
feel like I've only got
It's easy,
Betty
that.
Page left.
No, it's Bronte. It's easy because candles.
Jack Nicholson it is for Saul.
And James?
Betty Page. I think it's my last one I can pick.
I was really hoping for a fact about firefighting.
Because Jack
Why?
Nicholson was
Because Jack,
fine.
yeah, because that
So was
they,
Steve Buscemi.
the infamous scene where in The Shining where Jack Nicholson is cutting down the door, they had to use a real door because the fake door he was cutting down too quickly because
Yeah.
he was a firefighter. He
So
knows
he
how to
like-
cut down a door with an axe.
So he like demolished this fake door, and they were like, "Let's just do a real door."
Yeah.
So here we go. So this person, so going over the facts, this person was born to an exotic dancer, wasn't sure about the identity of their father,
Quizzy
and
Lee.
went on to
Quizzy Lee.
went on to vandalise cars. James, you've gone for Quizzy E, you've gone for Iggy Pop, and you've gone for Charlotte Bronte. This was in fact Jack Nicholson. There you go. He stopped a car in traffic, got out a golf club, and just like in an act of road rage, basically broke their car, and there was like a lawsuit against it, and he settled because he was very much at fault. So this person was kicked out of university, loved cats, and saw Germany as the most culturally progressive country. You've all gone for Lenin, and you were all right. Congratulations, you all have 1 point.
Yay.
Ding, 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 ding,
We know Lenin.
So this
The
person,
the communist revolution. We're like, we know.
this person was born into a nomadic lifestyle to an English teacher and a baseball coach, and loved other people's paintings. You've gone for Iggy Pop, you've gone for Betty Page, and you've gone for Betty Page also. James, you are the one that's right. Congratulations. Two points
Wait,
to you.
who did I say?
Iggy Pop.
Can I point out? Now you've said it like that. They said they loved other people's paintings. I feel like most people like other people's paintings.
I
more than
only
their
like
own.
my own paintings, actually.
Yeah.
I
No,
hate
It's like,
everyone
you're
else's
looking at the
art.
Mona Lisa holding up dog with dick
No.
and being like, piece of shit, Mona Lisa, dog with dick is the real masterpiece here.
No, because
Why do you think my art's only dogs with dicks?
No, that's just the one called dog with dick.
No. All my art is just dogs with dicks. It's a theme.
the reason why
I chose to recreate iconic paintings with dogs with dicks.
You know that? So basically, one of my masterpieces is that the whole dogs playing poker. It's that but underneath the table.
They've all got the little rockets.
Yeah, they're all fucking loving it.
Wait, but looking at their rockets, can you tell which one of them was bluffing?
You know, that's actually a reason why poker tables are the size they are. No, so you can't actually so you can't touch the player opposite you with your feet.
Oh, I thought you were going to
Really?
say so like
see
your erection
John's
doesn't your erection doesn't intervene with your bluffing.
It's like you like it's like an anime thing. Like I know he's bluffing by the swelling in his pants. I hope he does not know that I have massive erection because I am liar.
Are you going to try and do a Japanese accent on every podcast? That's like 3 in a row.
That segment's gone.
Oh, sorry guys.
But I just like that's not true at all. I have no idea what poker tables are the size they are.
I like it so that they can't tell each other have erections.
Just reach across your foot, just like Saul's
You've
fucking
got a
hard.
bonk on me. He must have a good hand. He's aroused by it. Full house.
The reason I phrased this fact the way that it is in order to spur my own memory, because Iggy Pop was born in he was born to like a relatively poor family they lived in a trailer park, and they actually cleared out a whole section of their trailer and fit a drum kit in there for him because they were really proud of him and really wanted to encourage his musical career, which obviously paid off because he's a very talented musician. And the reason I said that he loves other people's paintings is because Iggy Pop is very active in like
Notorious art thief.
no, because
Iggy Pop strikes again.
because
Why
he
didn't they
loves
arrest him?
because he really loves art, and not only does he buy it, but he also like poses for it and stuff. Like as in like he acts as a model. So this person has an ATM in their house and once got given a purple fleece dog bed by a fan. That James, you went for
Jack Nicholson.
yeah, you went for Jack Nicholson. You went for Jack Nicholson, Jonah, and you went for
The Queen.
yeah.
Quizzy
Lee.
Quizzy Lee.
Lee.
So you went for Quizzy Lee. It is in fact Quizzy Lee.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Saul. So it's
I knew
2-2.
she had a post box, so she's got to have an ATM.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about Lizzie's job is that she occasionally gets given weird gifts. In fact, every year a list comes out and it gets published about like all the different weird things that she's got given. And on that list, like there are a variety of different gifts from many of the Commonwealth countries.
Why do you say like a dirty word? Those Commonwealth countries.
Well, just look at the last
common in it.
Look, not Commonwealth, but look at the last present that Russia gave us, you know? Now all of our fucking men have giant hats made of bear skin.
Wait, what?
What?
The big black helmet. They're from Russia.
Guardsmen's wear.
Yeah, the guardsmen.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
The
Are some
Russian
of them-
bear fur hats.
I thought you were going to make a reference to the last gift Russia gave us was Nerve Agent.
That's what I thought.
That's where we was going with
But
it.
maybe it's both. Maybe some of those hats have the nerve agent in them that like release slowly.
That's why they look so stiff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
I'm desperately fighting for my life. Sorry, what was that? Did that guy just whisper, help me in my ear?
hey, that guy's having a stroke on his horse.
Just blood leaking out his nose like, God save
No,
me.
but the hats were a gift from Russia.
Oh.
There you go. And now we just get nerve agents.
They must be, like, how long ago was that? They must be properly mouldy by now.
I think, but you treat fur and it's fine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
like
they made new ones in the
It's not like all those mink coats are now just really rotten.
I think anything that you don't look after will get
You know what's
rotten
been so
eventually.
depressing? Having a musket, firing at one of those people with the big hats, and the hat coming off their head, and you're like, damn it! Like, I didn't get them, and they're just like, I'm still fine. Because, like, to actually...
Did you just think that they had a massive forehead?
No. Because, obviously, like...
There's like a famous
it's a
picture,
reminder of just... Because, obviously, muskets are so hard to aim. So to actually hit someone must have been a good big deal. But you know if you fired and the hat came off, you get just a little bit excited you got him, and then he'd be there like, whoa, and you're like, oh, so close. Got his
Especially
hat.
as those hats are massive.
Yeah, I'm just saying it would have been such like a little...
But like at least the hats were a cool gift. A purple fleece dog bed to the Queen.
for the corgis.
No, I know, but like at least get her a cool dog
No,
bed.
her
It's
last-
just purple
No,
fleece.
my God.
Her last corgi's dead.
Really?
Yeah, she's out for corgis.
Really?
She don't look
Oh.
anymore.
Well, no, because she's nearly dead too.
What?
No point in
Is it like a
investing.
curse that ties them together? Like I
Well,
don't
no, it's
understand.
Yeah, like
You
guinea
can't get any-
pigs. You have to
It's
get
like-
two of them.
If you were 91
Yeah.
and she's 92
That's
tomorrow,
corgis.
Yeah.
would you get a new dog?
Yeah, I've got so many staff to look after it,
Yeah, but like,
and they can give me joy.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I mean, you must get bored of them. I think she's going to get a different animal completely, like a raccoon.
I'd be like, fuck it, we're doing it like great.
Queen, get where
We're
you
doing
want.
it like great grandmama did. Get me some tigers.
I'll tell you what I would do if I was the king. King of England, I'm on my
wouldn't that just
deathbed.
be-
I'm like, I bring my family close. I'm like, did you get the gift? And they're like, King James, long was your reign, mighty and revered are you
No
in
one,
all the
James,
ways.
no one would allow you to reign for more than 6 months.
They wouldn't stop me. That's the key. And I'd be there like, goodbye, my loved ones, but did you get my final gift, that pet I wanted? I have very little life left. And they'd pull out this giant snarling cage, and I'd be like, unleash the pet lion, and then I'd die. And they'd just unleash it into the halls of Buckingham Palace, and they'd be like, King James's final gift to us, this rampaging hungry lion.
So I'd go for something more like a whole nest of hawks. Just let them loose in Buckingham Palace. Like, my pets. I can only fall asleep to the sounds of just buzzing.
Screaming servants as they're
And
stung
buzzing.
again by hornets.
King Athelstan would be King Aethelwulf. He'd be proud.
Yeah.
King Aethelwulf. He'd be proud. King Aethelwulf. He'd be proud. King Aethelwulf. 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 King Aethel hornets in the halls of power.
Okay, so the next fact is this person was a keen student with a passion and love of Christianity. You've gone for Charlotte Bronte, you've gone for Quizzy Lee, you've gone for Iggy Pop. But in fact, you're all wrong because the answer is Betty Page, which is quite interesting because she is, when you Google Betty Page, you find a lot of nude photos of her because she was infamous for like modelling underwear and being very provocative and being very happy about being naked, which obviously goes
Oh,
against...
thank God that wasn't
I was
Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop like loves art, just him just nude in like female underwear.
Well, he does pose for art nude.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
He does run around the
Yeah, he
move in a
does, yeah.
corset, screaming, "Paint me."
So all wrong. And then the last one is this person can read in the dark better than in the light. You've gone for Betty Page. Why?
I didn't know who she was, and I was out of people. What do you
Okay.
mean? Why? It was clear. The last person. Why did I go for the bell? No one else.
Okay, you've gone for Charlotte Bronte and you've gone for Jack Nicholson. And Jonah was right, which means that you're at a tie.
I'm still
Two
draw,
each.
Yeah. You got any like tiebreaker?
Well, we all
facts?
have two each.
I don't.
We all have two each.
Except Val. Val loses. for being
I
the
lose
host.
every time.
So we went from like last week being
You got all of them correct.
being like such a decisive victory to the war of the the Three Kingdoms period of China, where we've all just got two apiece, looking at one another awkwardly,
Yeah,
like.
it's a triumvirate.
Ooh.
Who wants to be Leppy?
But
Jonah wants to be Leppy. Leppy's the best one. And that wraps up famous facts.
Deadlock.
a deadlock. Should we just do rock, paper,
Keep your gun,
scissors?
keep your guns
No,
prime.
we resolve it next
that'll be
week.
great. That'll be great for an audio setting, wouldn't it? So-
Yeah. I win, beat them both. Wow, couldn't believe it. James wins again.
I demand a rematch.
I won again. Oh, crazy! It's crazy, Sean. Like, now there can be
Not
no
winning,
refuting
he's
it.
not
Guys,
winning.
that just means that the next week we will announce the true victor.
There'll be more war. Is what you're
More
saying.
war. There's always more war, James. That's the spoiler for the game of life.
You sound like the people at Games Workshop. There's always going to be more war.
Turns
That's the game.
Turns out Val is actually the God Emperor of Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you guys are aware, Commonwealth Games happened recently somewhere. I think Australia.
No, it was Australia.
Oh, it was Gold Coast, which confused me because I was like, I'm pretty sure it's in Africa, but that's called Ghana these days. Stupid 1950s brain. So,
They were held in Rhodesia, don't you know?
I knew a chap. He was from the Transvaal, actually. Or was it Natal? I forget.
Belgian Congo, I just can't remember.
But tangent, I was thinking. So that got me onto these big track, like come one, come all sporting events, and obviously the top of that pile of medals and self-congratulation, Sebastian Coe, is the Olympics. So I was thinking, the Olympic Committee calls you up because they're out of ideas at this point, and say, look, guys, we need people aren't just tuning in anymore. Like they've got bored of swimming, it seems. Who would have thought? We need your advice. What is the dead weight that we cut, and what do we bring in to really spice things up? So what my question to you guys is, what is the one event you would cut from the modern Olympics, and what would you bring in to replace it? So who wants to go first?
Just to reiterate, this is the segment called Debatable, where Jonah pitches us a question and we argue like hungry dogs.
Infants. Oh.
Okay.
Infant hungry dogs, mewling for mother's teat.
So this is going to be lots of...
I'm gonna go first.
Unable to
because-
open our eyes, but able to fight.
I'm gonna go first.
Are you?
Because I just feel like my idea cannot be matched. I think.
You're confident.
Yeah, I'm confident.
Bold words,
I think-
General Haig.
I think.
Worst defeat in military. Well, it wasn't a defeat; it was a victory. And as Jonah said earlier, it got the word victory in it.
I think Olympics aren't bringing in as many views anymore as they used to because things are too safe. And
Right.
things are too safe. Too much health and safety. Where's the blood? Where's the guts? I want some blood sport.
I feel
And
like
I
Bringing
know-
back gladiatorial combat.
I would love to, but I know it would never pass. So instead, I'm going to take out...
You've just said my idea is going to have people hurt, but gladiatorial combat, that will never pass. We're only here
I
to
want-
maim.
I want blood and gore, but not
I
fight
want-
to
no,
death.
no,
Guys,
hold on.
also
I do want blood and gore, but this
Just
is
not
like
as transparent as a fight to the death.
no, of course, because mine would be like the gateway kind of drug into the Olympics. Not
Oh.
that there aren't enough drugs
Also,
in the
there's
Olympics
like-
as it is.
there's like a long-term plan here.
It has been a
course.
very long time before someone has said that the Olympics was their gateway drugs to the Colosseum. We are talking, that was an antiquity expression. Like, first you're watching men naked wrestle, and then you watch them kill each other.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take out one and replace it with something which will make it more exciting. For me, watching long jump and high jump, at least it's impressive. You know, whoa, you can lob yourself really, really high up. You know, there's the risk that you're gonna fall and break your back. But
No,
with
there's a giant mat.
No, but I mean, maybe you'll trip. I don't know. You'll
You just
fall.
watch the Olympics just to see people get hurt. Why didn't you just watch
The
Formula One?
potential for
Yeah, I was gonna
tripping
say,
is
that's
in...
the reason I watch Formula One. It's really boring unless someone crashes.
I just said,
Yeah.
but Val, the potential,
Well, that's
the
the
potential for tripping and hurting yourself is present in just most Olympic sports.
No, but the thing is that what if you hurl yourself too high up and you miss the mat completely
Val, do you
and
like
hurt
do you
yourself?
loiter on like
I can't
or, like,
wait.
that's not a height thing. That's a length
Anyway,
thing. That's
anyway,
the long
wait.
Val, do you like
Let's-
loiter on tube platforms and wait to see people trip? just
No,
to make
don't
your
tell
day?
me you haven't stood at a tube platform and thought, what would I do if somebody threw themselves in front of a train?
Well, nothing. They've thrown
that-
themselves in front of a train.
I don't know.
I much prefer the idea that Val is sitting there watching the Olympics being someone better trip soon and hurt themselves or I'm bored. Oh, there goes a ball boy in the background like, oh!
I mean, I don't know if I should be saying this, but does it explain me as a person that I haven't thought about what would happen if someone jumped in? More the fact that what would happen if I just pushed someone?
See, I'm the opposite. I thought, like, what happened if I threw myself in?
I think that as well.
Or you got pushed by me?
Is that a match made in heaven?
I think most.
All three of us.
I'll watch.
You'll watch me
you
push
push.
James.
Okay.
I think most Londoners would agree that their biggest concern
How
is
late
that-
they're going to be.
is exactly
Yeah.
that. How much it's going to delay my commute if someone throws himself in
Yeah,
the train.
exactly.
Like,
It's
you
awful.
selfish bastard.
Yeah, it's awful.
If someone was so sad they chose to end their own life and you're like, I'm 5 minutes late for work. Which I also hate, may I add. I'm 5 minutes late to go to the place that I hate.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'll keep the high jump in. Like, there's still a chance. Maybe I'll make the mat slightly shorter.
Slightly more made of concrete.
Like a target and just make it concrete.
How can you jump over this bar onto spikes? Why would it... What? Jump onto the spikes now?
So I'm taking out long jump because it's lame. It's just people lobbing themselves into sand.
It's the same principle, but horizontally.
I don't like it. Look.
Okay, what are you replacing it with? That's the
Horizontals for
question.
plebs, James.
Yeah.
Okay, so same principle. You have to be able to push yourself horizontally at a greater distance. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to place our athletes on a cliff. And they have to do a running start and
But it's still
try
long
and
jump.
make it to the other side.
Okay, I pose you this.
But then
right?
some of them will fall and die, which we'll obviously record in slow motion in HD.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
going to tell you this right now. No Olympians are going to fall and die because if some of them can make it, they can all relatively make it. I bet you that unless one of them really like miffs it at the
No,
start.
but James, it's obviously
Or maybe you could
it's
do a
not a
thing-
real cliff. We push them further. It's like we'll push them further.
I was going to say what because with the way the high jump works is that people set the bar higher
Yeah.
and higher.
Oh,
Yeah.
the crevasse gets wider and wider.
Yeah.
To how you set it.
Yeah.
So you'd be like,
So
I
you're
reckon,
like, I think I could do this.
I reckon, I reckon like Billy
For 8
Billy Big Balls
Fine.
steps up and is like, I can do a 10-meter crevasse.
Did
Watch
you mean
me."
Billy Big Balls?
Very
That's what I
big
said.
boy. Very big boy.
Oh god.
Call back.
I feel like this should start a trend. Before you know it, Val's going to be like running a live current through the bar or the high jump. Like, you better clear it, otherwise you're dead.
Yeah.
Vaporized, my friend.
Look, this is
And if he doesn't get you, we've also decided to kill two birds with one stone, and you are doing the high jump while the others are doing the clay pigeon shooting.
Okay,
so like,
guys.
they may get you.
okay, guys. So, who wants to go next? So, I'm just presenting my case, and then after we've all
You're
presented our
removing
case,
long jump and changing it
We need
into
to
long
argue-
jump with death.
yeah. So we need to then argue about whose is best, and then do a closing statement,
So
keeping it structured.
I'll go. No, Saul should go next.
Okay, fine. Well, I want to get rid of running, like all of it. I'm
Every kind.
yeah, every kind.
But
I'm-
is this running as a sport or running in the Olympics at all? So like no one can run in any event.
You can crab walk, but you can't
you'd
run.
have to walk up to the the long jump.
No,
and
no,
then-
no. That would be
flop.
that would be ridiculous. Also, it's not really a run; it's more like that weird jump. They could have do that.
So that's
Hey,
exempt.
huh.
Okay, but imagine this, yeah.
That's
You're
a
watching the
triple
Olympic tennis,
Oh, yeah.
the ball walks out, the ball boy has to just walk out as the another goes
No,
smacks
but no,
into-
I'm saying like I don't know, but
Deep
like
running is a sport.
yeah, I
Track.
generally, especially like the 100-meter sprint, because like one, there's a lot of preparation for what is essentially a couple of seconds, and then it's
See,
over.
I do agree with your running thing, but I much like I don't like the marathon.
The long ones, yeah, the
you know when you're there,
marathons,
you come
fucking
out, they're
hell.
just still there, just sweatier, and
Just
you're there like,
walking,
yeah.
I mean, it
And
is,
then
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It is impressive, but
Yeah.
it just shouldn't be, you know,
Possible.
on TV.
just give me the good bits.
Yeah.
Be
Right,
like,
so-
when was that one sick? When was this person
that's-
soiled themselves?
That's again coming back to the Formula One arguments. Like, it's the most exciting parts of a Formula One race is the beginning and then the end. Like, you don't
The
want
end's
the
not even that.
crashes.
No, the end's not that particular because one person is so far ahead. Then they just go around a corner and go. Like it's very rare you see like a
Good
the
visual
wild-
aspect.
yeah,
to it,
arms
to
in air, cheering.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that's a good point.
Just going. Like, congratulations, James.
Podcast.
Yeah. So,
I understand the format.
now what I'm replacing it with is something that I hold dear, a bit of nostalgia, right? Olympic supermarket sweep. Why haven't they brought it back?
Didn't he die?
They can get a different host. It's not like he died and they were like, "This
Who
is
was
the
the
end of."
host?
I don't
Like Dale-
understand what
Dale
this is.
Winton.
Oh, yeah, he
Winton.
died yesterday or something
Yeah.
like that. Day
Really?
before yesterday.
Yeah, he died really recently. So
Really?
like,
Like this week.
yeah.
I feel really bad because I didn't actually know that. Now I feel really awful for.
I was really
I
upset.
feel maybe I'm connected to him. That's why I thought I'd mention supermarket sweep.
What's supermarket sweep?
You go around a supermarket and you nab shit. And
He-
Dale
It's
comments
like-
and makes
it's
fun
like
of you.
how much stuff can get in a trolley in a certain amount of time, and whatever you get in the trolley is yours.
yeah.
Right.
It was a TV program. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
So it's just competitive looting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
competitive looting, which is what
Essentially.
we branded as in the Olympics. Clearly,
Okay, I like that. That's definitely going to be way more exciting to
it's
watch.
also a really good way to use your hooligans effectively rather than just as a national
Exactly,
shame.
yeah.
You can be like, you get your hooligans, you're like, right, boys,
Repurpose.
you are the professional looting team, and then it's like, you know, like,
yeah, maybe change the name from supermarket sweep.
Yeah, yeah,
To just
to avoid
Olympic looting.
copyright.
Copyright.
Yeah,
Competitive looting.
Olympic looting.
So it's like, oh, here
Even
are
rolls off the tongue.
here are Britain's looters. You know, they're the Tottenham fans of this week. Oh, let's
So
get
they're
let's
like,
smash it
all
up.
these kids with just hoodies, like they're very young as well.
But they're all branded. They're all coloured in the same, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Team GBs, hoodies, and lockpicks.
I like, so it's turning from supermarket street to literally
breaking and
just,
entering.
breaking and entering, and actually just looting.
Actually, just going out to the local neighbourhood and looting
And
their
also,
stuff.
maybe, I mean, that would be impressive and fun to watch because you don't really get to see many actual lootings. Like,
Yeah, you do.
no,
Just
but-
watch reruns of Hurricane Katrina.
I mean, actually, like professional lock picking.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
okay,
usually it's just
okay. Right, here's one for you. Right, Ant-Man, right, an okay, but actually enjoyable film. But the good bits about that, the bits about getting spoiled was him stealing stuff. Like actually watching
As
him,
an
you know.
ant.
No,
more food for the Queen. Yeah, that's his entire motivation. Nah, more ant than man now.
man
I keep
ant.
following pheromone trails.
Man ant.
Keeps getting lost. He puts stuff on his way.
So, man ant, what do you make you on the job? Mainly for the Queen.
Did I say man ant or Ant Man?
No, but Val said
Okay.
man. Ant,
So
man,
can we just go back into the footage?
a
and
man with
check-
an ant's
I'm
mentality.
starting to get paranoid. But he said, for a second I was like, did I just stumble and say man
I
ant?
just love this. This man's just following someone. Why are you following me? And I've been doing this weird walk to distract you. Your pheromones imply that you are the Queen.
Right.
Right.
I can lift 10 times
You
my
know
own
that
weight.
way.
What? Just lift
Would you
it.
like this giant blade of grass?
That's just African knuckles.
It would just be a tree.
Ugandan
It would
knuckles,
be a
thank you
tree.
very much.
Dead mean. Dead mean.
Much like
Exhumed.
much like Harambe, who we talked about very recently. Okay.
Yeah, but Harambe was pristine mean.
What, a legendary
yeah.
meme.
Yeah, but
It died
Ugandan Knuckles
great, you know,
was
it
so-
died- it died-
You're just jealous because you don't know the way.
Oh please! Like it's such a. It's dead. It's so dead. Leave it dead. No, don't please. No, please. It's dead. It's dead. It's dead. Leave it alone. It's dead.
Spit on you, my brother.
No,
It's dead.
please.
It's dead. It's dead.
It's
dead.
so
it's dead. It's
dead.
dead. It's
Okay,
dead.
okay, James.
Run. Leave the graveyard hall. There are dead memes here.
Dude, I can still hear the fucking knocking.
Okay. My
That's
one.
the rain outside.
My problem with the Olympics is the fact that this is just my serious point. I don't like sports that have Full stop. Yeah, full stop. Other than competitive looting, which is a joy to watch. No, I don't like sports where the Olympics isn't the highest echelon of that sport being in the Olympics. So, for example, my personal hatred of football. Because it's like no football teams care about the Olympics. They just go there, waste money, and then go off and practice for the World Cup or whatever, because it's far more important. So I'm like, hack that out, save money. You know, we don't need that. We don't need tennis. We have Wimbledon. You know what I'm saying? We don't need golf. We've got the Masters. Like, all these other things that have very big events, prestigious events that are... Like, for me, the Olympics should be the highest echelon of the sports in the Olympics. And that's just the way it should be, in my opinion. So to cut that out, an equally serious point, I believe we should have competitive hide-and-seek. So... what we should have is a randomised arena. So these officials come in and they randomise it just full of stuff. And then one team comes in and they hide.
Like Hunger Games style.
Yeah, and everyone gets to watch them hide.
We do hide and seek, but then we unleash the people playing the Hunger Games style onto the people who are hiding.
Why are you
and
so
they have to
obsessed
kill
with death?
them.
And
Val,
what's wrong with you?
I don't want death.
And
You
branding
sound
it.
like a
Val,
psychopath.
that play only works once, where you spring Hunger Games and otherwise,
Yeah.
You know,
it's only the one-time event, and then everyone
hide-and-seekers.
doesn't want to do competitive hide-and-seek anymore because the fun's been taken
but,
out of it.
I mean-
because people with weapons were butchering people they
James,
found,
are you-
and the others thought it was just a ploy to lure them out of their hiding spaces, so they stayed hidden.
Are you posing the hide and seek because you think that you and me, Team GB?
Yeah, Team GB, hide-and-seek.
I mean, when we have, as
Yeah.
kids, played hide and seek,
We're
we
great.
had some bloody
Yeah.
awesome.
Because you have
spots.
people who are like the bloodhounds. You know, like in football teams, you've got defenders and, you know, attackers. It's like, you've got the people who are master hiders, like your contortionists who can just disappear into the smallest nooks and crannies. And then you've got your, like seekers.
like us climbing under cars.
Yeah, like you were saying. And then you've got your bloodhound-like seeker. Like the American team would be like, here we bring in the Navajo Indian. He's like, he just looks at the ground and goes, I know where they are. Doing kind of thing. And they're like, unleash the chief! And like, people are chanting for the chief as he comes and hunts
can I
people
get
down.
a rule clarification? It's hide and seek.
Yeah.
Does it have a tag element, or is it? Do you go with the rules where if you're found, if you're
You can
seen,
run away.
if you're
You can run
seen,
away.
so
Yeah.
you can run.
You have to be caught and run.
So there could be a play style where your hiding is low, but
your
excellent-
manoeuvrability,
your
yeah.
parkour is.
That's
so
running
many-
again.
yeah.
I'm off this topic. I was with it, but now it's just running. It's running but being chased.
No, it's hiding, being carried and
then-
chased.
But you're being followed, so then
No, but
weird,
you need-
weird walk seem unappealing.
No, but you need more. See, 'cause this has a whole element of pack tactics because it's not good enough to just find someone when you know they have an escape route. You've got to pin them in. You've got to get them running from their hiding spot, turning, and then getting clotheslined by the chief
So
because
this
he was
is
ahead.
becoming
He
like
was
a
winning.
manhunt now.
Yeah, but also then the entire arena gets randomised again. The other team comes in and they've got to beat the time it took that team to take out all the other people, and no leaving the arena. That's a firm rule. There's always one guy who runs off outside the bounds and hides there, just milling on the street corner, but no one's looking there, and he thinks he's a great hider and no one likes
Just
it.
goes and sits in the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Wally, like, stands up like, way!
Oh.
What?
I used to love our games of hide and seek.
Oh, they're great. That's what I'm saying. Because imagine how much fun it would be to watch. Because everyone likes watching someone else, you as an audience knowing something, and then watching a group of idiots not know.
Yeah, dramatic irony.
Yeah, so everyone would love watching competitive hide and seek because they'd be all sitting there going, oh, I know where he is, he's in the bin, like, kind of thing. And then you'd be watching like this guy looking around like, you know, the Russian team, like, I don't know where he is, where he gone, I take him on the road, I can't find man, I can't see through wall, I just can run fast. It is useless to me. And,
So what about the Japanese team?
What's your point, so?
it just wants me to do the Japanese accent again. There.
No.
Anyway, and everybody would have a very formal affair without any racist commentary on one another. And everybody would have a great old time, it'd be very jolly, and it'd be a nice way to bring people together because rather than fighting wars, we can hide and seek. And we can be like, found you, Russia! And they'll be like, he was hiding the whole time!
In Damascus, who would have known?
No, it was in Syria!
Like, Russia, everyone knew you, silly goose.
I bet you won't find my other hiding place. Is it Crimea? No! No, I don't. No, all of Ukraine. What? No way!
I mean, I feel
So
like
there's-
if the Olympic event was actually hiding and you had the planet, I think like it's basically just testing that like your special agents' forces of how can you find
Can you imagine
people.
it just being like, so, and now we come back to the hide and seek event here. Yeah, unsurprisingly, Jimmy is still hidden as he has buried himself up to his neck in the middle of the Sahara. No one has found him, but he has expired. Like, this bleached skull. It's like, and as you can see here, the Russian team is roughly 58,000 kilometers in the wrong direction. Well, he's not in this wood. No, but it would be one arena. Teams of 10. Hide and seek.
So
Different kinds of environments.
Yeah, it randomises every time. So it's not like they'll be like, oh, everybody hides in the bin.
So at this point, I think we should bring up arguments against the other people's sports and why they wouldn't work.
All right, Val, do you want to go first?
I think James's idea, while fun to watch and would really stretch the abilities of our intelligence
Intelligenceisms, yes.
intelligence systems. I would say that it would be a very long-winded game.
No, because it's in one arena.
I'm assuming time limit.
Yeah. It's one arena.
Stop eating my hair.
We're talking, these are professional seekers, Val. They're going to have everyone found in minutes. It's not going to be there like, where could he be? And he's going to be hiding on the lighting apparatus. Like, they won't find me.
Okay.
As I said,
I mean,
no
James-
out bounds.
I mean, if anyone's pointing fingers
to
at
be-
what wouldn't work.
To be
Yeah.
fair, in your original pitch, you did say it was a time thing. So how long does it take a team to find
But
everyone?
I assume that no one's going to take days upon days to find people in one arena that is predetermined. Like, say, it's the size of a football pitch. You
I'm
know?
just saying, like, if you get, like, you know, because you get, like, your Usain Bolts who come along and they start smashing world records, like...
Also,
I
super height.
I don't think it would be a very exciting thing to watch. Is my main concern
Val's
is
like, add cattle prods,
not
then I'm in.
not exciting because you have one person walking around looking for people.
No, you have a whole team looking for people, hunting them down when they break cover. It's dramatic. It's like watching African hunting dogs on
Yeah.
a hunt.
It's like 10 against 10.
And you get to
10
watch.
people hiding
You
through
get to watch someone hiding as the entire pack swoops past on their teammate who's screaming, "Help me, boys!"
So no, I'm backing you up.
Yeah.
But however, like pointing fingers, I think like I don't think that unfortunately like
throwing people to their death.
throwing people to their death, having
You don't think it's sustainable?
no, I don't think no, not sustainable. I mean, there's quite a few people on the planet. I'm
Yeah,
not worried that we're going to run out of
How
people.
many-
To
Well, you
jump.
are going to run out
How
of
many
people
of them
volunteering to
champion
throw
long
themselves
jumpers?
to their death for their country
think-
professionally.
I think
Yeah.
There's going to be one guy who's the best in the world and no other competitors because nobody else wants to die.
No, but just to rebuttal that point. What I'm trying to say is that it would be
Some
a much
people want to die.
no, some people want to die, and it's a much
That's
more
what you're gonna
exciting and interesting way of perceiving what huge distance it is
Okay.
when there's actual risk. When you're looking at sand, who the fuck cares?
Okay. I pose this
Yeah.
to you. I pose this to you, right? So euthanasia
Anakin's
is
like, I've got to jump the whole pit. I can't land in the sand.
So there's a lot of
Sorry.
controversy about euthanasia and the fact that that there is actually the idea of a death machine.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
Kills you in 4
so
seconds.
yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
So your idea is to get the people that want to kill themselves and make them try and jump a gap. Surely they just wouldn't jump
to
it.
the edge and fall.
Yeah, surely like their goal
2 swivels up to the world, in they go.
dead. Like,
Yeah.
why do you think that those are the people that would be perfect to not want to die and make
On top
the
of
jump?
that, you're saying that we should make it more interesting. We should try and make people clear. You could say that about every Olympic sport. Why shouldn't we have cyclists running away from men with machetes, swinging them, just to highlight how fast they're really going? Why don't we have people who are doing the high jump who have to jump over razor wire or they get
Yeah,
impaled on
why
it
not?
and then become an obstacle for the next jumper? Why don't we have?
Fair points.
Yeah,
I'm set, but
Discus. So it's a mine.
swimming but with sharks.
so far, I have a lot of emphasis on Val and also on
Yeah.
James. Any critiques of Saul's proposition?
Nah, because looting's cool.
I mean,
Per
yeah, you
18.
do have the whole looting aspect when people
Yeah,
are doing supermarket sweep.
you could be.
There's not much
encouraging
professionalism.
loads of people,
I
yeah.
mean, it would be a bit jaunting to go from all these people doing the rhythmic gymnastics and whatever to go to a load of people just sweeping stuff off a shelf, like knocking one another out, like grabbing that giant inflatable banana.
No. It's more like an individual person. It's one person. It's not like
Yeah.
a team. One person, and it's their display on how quickly they can get in and out of a building without
With much swag.
without things like obviously you get bonus points for not setting off alarms and breaking things, so actually lock picking. So you could do the quick way of just breaking and taking as much as possible, or for bonus points you could do it with the really stealthy aspect.
I've got a massive criticism for you, Saul, and it's called global economics. Okay, all these different teams from around the world, their supermarkets are all going to look different. They're all going to have different value on items. You're going to get someone who comes in and he thinks, yeah, I'm going to grab these because they're really... Say TVs. Man, these TVs are worth so much money. Japan, everyone's making TVs. You know, you go to the corner, Mr. Panasonic got a TV, and he's like, take it, just don't buy it from Sony. You know.
Right, well, here's one for you,
Yeah,
James.
well,
Right?
someone- but
your hiders, mate. Your hiders, right? The average human size differs from country to country, so surely the smaller human average of those countries would be better at hiding.
I'm actually with
Closing statements.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
everyone
sure,
closing
of course,
statements.
That was one of stupid. Carry on.
Yeah.
That's your closing statement. Great.
All right, so shush.
My closing statement is: it's exciting. It will sell. It will show off what incredible athletes we have, and
As they plunge to their death.
yeah, lost talent will truly be a tragedy.
Oh God, imagine if you had
Every
like,
just zooming in on this pit of mangled corpses, some probably still alive.
Well, like the
Gabby
world-
Logan be like, look at all that wasted talent.
one day you have like the world record holders has a really bad day, slips and dies.
Yeah.
I just
And then
think-
someone else just like,
I think it will transform the other sporting events for the better.
there'll be more danger involved in all of them. The
Yeah,
triathlon.
I mean, trying to take out the running out of the Olympics is pretty much like
what's it?
like
Is it, you know, the
Killing the
biathlon?
Olympics.
You know, the biathlon? The one where you ski and then you shoot?
Yeah, winter biathlon.
Yeah.
should be our people.
It's the one where the first one to get to the gun gets to turn around and wield it on his colleagues. So they're all really racing to get to that point because it's going to be last man standing from
How
then
much
on
more
out.
exciting it would be.
What, you
I'm
want to
just
watch this Norwegian man take off his skis, just go, Finnish man, we go, think about the war, remember the Red Army, point down his scope and see all these other skiers coming in and just be like, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Brutal.
He
No,
only gets 10 shots though.
yeah, you only get to take out 10, but he just grabs one of the other guns. The first 10 are dead, he just throws it away, picks up the
That's
next
the
one.
rules.
Yeah, oh, it's against the rules, now you have to run away from the guy who survived, who's got a fully loaded gun.
My closing
I would also
statement.
I would call it down jump.
As
Why
opposed to
would
his-
you do? You're not jumping down. You're
jumping
still
across.
jumping across like a long jump. You're not aiming to go down.
Yeah, you're implying you just want to watch people fall into a gorge.
Like that's like calling like the 100-meter sprint take your time.
That's
Or
the
calling
end
it
of my
the
thing.
side waddle. And they're like, no, it's waddle, and they run forwards.
So my closing statement, before I was rudely interrupted, is that okay? One, I think it'd be very interesting to watch people breaking and entering. Two, all the people that are actually doing this
Do
as
the shops know they're participating?
Of course they do that. They have sponsor deals.
It's
They
a
compete to
set-up
be
building,
looted.
It's
like your
always
fake
McDonald's.
cliff.
Yeah.
No, but it's the fact that all these people that actually would do this as a crime are now being sponsored and now are doing it legally.
It's the
Boom.
same
So-
argument
so
as
we're-
marijuana.
So my argument is this. Mine is the only
Olympic
crime-
pot smoking.
Mine
no.
is the only one. Not only does it get rid of pretentious old football, but mine is also the only one that isn't encouraging illicit behaviour or making people want to kill themselves or loot stuff. It's the one where it's just a friendly game of hide and seek, but professional. The world won't be shocked to watch my Olympic sport, and I feel that's an advantage over your two.
Well, I mean, I've heard all there is to say. I would say actually with Saul's event, I think watching someone lockpick could be quite dull because it's someone crouched by a lock, kind of smushing their
Let's go
hands
for a
about.
3D view and just imagine what he's doing.
In my head, I had it more like a Fallout where you actually could see the mechanism. There's a camera inside
Rather
the
than
lock.
just a man hunched over a lock, just fiddling. You know, just the kind of. Still at it. I mean, this does
Yeah.
usually take about 6 minutes,
Our
so you
audience-
may tune over right
I
now.
was going to say our audience at home
And then
needs to
some-
listen for the telltale clicks
Yeah.
of tumblers going into
Oh wait, the other guy's just smashed the door and. Oh yes, he set off an alarm, but he doesn't care. He's going.
So
What's the point system? The point system where 6 minutes of dull lock picking has to be more valuable.
I'm just the idea man. I don't need to come up with a logistics.
Saul, I've got to be honest, I'm out on the competitive lockpicking.
Because he's into down jump.
No, Val.
No,
I agree with everyone else. No one's going to compete for that if they will actually die if they mess up.
Okay, I'll put a mat down.
Then what's the point?
That's the point. It's just fancy lock. All the
That's long
problems.
jump without
They're all the
sand.
problems.
Thin.
Enough to
It
make.
will be thin.
Oh,
Okay.
It's a really thin
by
mat.
as
like
much-
the ones you have in the gymnastics, like every area, you know, the really.
Oh yeah.
the floor.
See, you could have been
That
smart.
smell of sweat.
See, this is the thing. You could have been smart. You could have said, down jump is where you have to make it over the crevasse. Then you fall in. There's a mat, and you have to get out before the event's over when the crevasse is sealed back up. So it's basically like kind of a triathlon where it's like you jump over. Basically, you have to get to the other side quick. And that's how they scored. Some person.
think-
That still sounds.
James, I
That's
think
I
that's,
love
I
that
still
he's
prefer mine.
prefaced
I'm
this
just saying.
as,
Listen,
if
there's
you
only
were
so much you
smart-
can do with Val's idea.
I think
If you were really smart,
James-
Val, you wouldn't proposing hurling people into a cliff for your amusement and
Yes,
trying to
I
pass
would.
it. You're like Caligula. Yeah.
James,
It's a new Olympic
Alright,
sport.
let them die.
so. Like Val's idea, I don't like. James, your improvement on Val's idea, I liked even less. But by process of elimination, as much as anything else, competitive hide and seek is going to replace football.
Yeah.
I don't like football. That's fair. And I think competitive hide and seek of all the three is probably the most viable.
I was going to go with the 100-metre sausage roll, but I thought people would be a bit sick. Just spewing on the way down. At the speeds that they're rotating, no one can keep their stomach in.
I was thinking of like a 100-meter long sausage roll. You have to eat.
No, I meant like rolling down a
I know what you
hill.
mean now. But it's like just trying to eat your way up 100 meters long.
Sponsored by Greg's.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Greg's also sponsors the looting event because they got looted hard at the.
Mate, why would you loot a Greg's?
Do you know what I mean?
Like, and society's crumbled and you're just
fresh
eating...
baking.
But it's
No,
not
but
even going to be
nothing's
fresh.
baked yet.
You're eating day-old sausage rolls. Like,
Yeah.
nah, joke's on you guys who are nicking all the
James,
diamonds.
It's armed robbery. You kick the door in just before they open up for business.
I tell you what, Joe,
You
look,
hold them up.
I'll make you a pact right now. If at the age of 60 I feel nothing left to live for, I will rob a Greg's just to go to prison. Like, I will burst in there, armed to the nines, like I was going to bust into Fort Knox, cock a
You
gun,
can have the money. No, I want your fucking pasties,
sausage
mate.
rolls in a bag! In the fucking bag!
Can you wrap them in paper first?
They're really hot.
Yeah. What are you looking at, this poor old lady? Like, I was here on my lunch break. Get on! Don't try anything funny. No one better fizz up a Coke and throw it at my head. Cox AK-47.
So you are the winner.
Congratulations,
Yay! That's 2 for 2. Alexander the Great of Debatable over here. I mean, it's pretty early days to claim that, but undefeated
James.
as of
Working on
yet.
it. Yeah. Okay, and that was debatable. Congratulations, James, for winning.
Again.
Must feel really nice.
Why is
Saul just
staring at me like
Another time.
Because Saul always
Winning?
loses.
It's only been twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saul always loses. Val always comes a close second. You always win.
But you're saying that monstrosity of the near death beat the lock picking?
It's more interesting to watch. It's just a
What
stupid-
the hell?
So I was off of down
Yeah,
jump.
that
I was
thing
on-
was a disgrace to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Looting is fine.
I think it's bringing it back closer to its roots. Fuck health and safety. Anyway, so
At no point was there an Olympic sport called jump to a crevasse, even in the ancient Greeks. They didn't just... Because you have to remember, the Olympics were performed naked. So in your head, the ancient Greeks just got oiled up a load of naked
Okay.
men and told them to jump a gap and hope they could make
Jonah,
it.
if my sport is performed naked, would that change your opinion?
Not really.
Okay. All right. So
What if the looting was
Where
greased up
would
men?
Greased up men,
Dropping
just
their
a lock
picks.
pick. One guy just running and just bursting through the glass naked, covered in shards. Starts grabbing bananas.
why?
It's like confusing and scary for all, but by God, I'm tuning in for the next season.
Anyway.
Screaming bloody men and grabbing whatever they can.
Hello guys, it's just me, Saul from the late shift. Just to let you know that this is going to be a two-parter. Sorry for the massive delay in getting these up. hip complications. But as a reward, we have a two-parter expanding over 3 hours worth of podcast, as well as there should be a late shift too late, which is all the gubbins and cutout stuff that we didn't think was appropriate for a normal podcast. So that's going to be going up. There'll be a link to a SoundCloud, but check that out and look out for the next part, which should be up actually probably on the same day. So thank you very much, and hopefully see you guys soon.